is Karen Burniston here with your November 2024 virtual class. Okay, what are we making this month? So this month we're going to make two fun Christmas cards. So the first one's going to be this top fold wishing you a season of cheer, Merry Christmas, fa la 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 la, or you can make it say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Beautiful Simple Stories papers this month. Okay, that'll be our first card, square card. Then we're going to switch over and do a doubled photo fan card. So this is one of the new pop-up dies we have. It's not a Christmas die. We're just using it with Christmas paper and our snow charms and stuff to craft it for a holiday card. But certainly you're going to be able to use that die set year round for any season. Okay, so when we do virtual classes, you have a required die requirement. Does that make sense? Required die. You have to have required dies. So in this case, 4 dies from our brand new release. And those can be bundled with your paper and extras for your best value. You may still be able to get kits for this class. I don't know when you're watching this video. If it's a year later, no. But if it's on the premiere or closely thereafter, you may be able to get a kit, and just check that description box below for information about where you find out who is selling kits for this class. Okay, so the required dies from the new release are our snow charms, die number 1283. Then we've got 1284, the charm rings. Love these. Then we've got that new photo fan pop-up. So you see on the packaging, you can see it's not a Christmas die. It's just a year-round cool pop-up die. And then we have the Merry Christmas Lorna add-ons. Now, when we have an add-on set in our required dies, we do ask you to separate purchase, have the foundation die that it fits. So in this case, the Lorna label pop-up. If you have been following the brand, you may already own this. If you're new to the brand, that may be a 5th die that you have to pick up to do these projects. But when we do add-ons, we do ask that you have the foundation die, but it is sold separately. All right, so let's talk about how these virtual classes work. So what happens is you buy your kit from either our website. We're sold out, but you know, the next time the virtual class comes up, if you're interested, you can check our website, karenburniston.com. So we sell kits, and then we have, at this point, 5 different stores, including one in Europe, that are selling kits as well. And some of them may still have kits. That's why I'm saying check that description box, and you may find one of the stores or more has kits left. When you buy a kit, it's kind of your bulk materials. You can see here on the handout how it's like, big 12 by 12 sheets of paper and cardstock, and then some smaller pieces. And then what you do is you follow these handouts and the prep work video to get your kit from those bulk materials into something that's ready to assemble. And that is done ahead of class. So if this is your first time doing a virtual class and you didn't know that there was prep work, it's not a problem. This video is going to be right here where you left it. You can either just watch it through, kind of learn the projects, then go back to your prep work and come back and watch this video to assemble them. Or you can just bail right now and go do your prep work and then come back. This is a pre-recorded YouTube video, so that means you're not missing anything if you, if you have to bail because you didn't know you had to do your prep work. Okay, we make the videos public for our virtual classes, which means there may be some of you watching this class day video that you don't have a kit at all and you don't even intend to buy one, or maybe you do, but anyway, you can still watch the class day video. That's fine. We're happy to have people see what our classes are like, and if you're using your own materials and everything, you can even just make these cards based on watching this video. But what is exclusive to the kit holders is these really, really detailed instructions. So these instructions are exclusive to the kit holders. You have to buy a kit to get your instructions. They're very detailed. They're great for when you're going to make these cards again. They have all your measurements, and they have a link to that prep work video. So that's me getting my kit ready. I walk you through all the tips and tricks for doing the dies. So there's a lot of content for the kit holders as well, both the materials to make the cards, but then also these really detailed instructions and that prep work video. So, if you think you want that, you can check that out on those locations below. All right, so you've made it to class day videos. So let me tell you how this is going to work. So I'm going to be teaching and making these cards, following my instructions, or sometimes not. Sometimes I'll throw those out and just teach it the way I want to teach it, and then may or may not follow exactly how the instructions went. And I'm just going to craft at my regular speed. All right. And that may be a little too fast for you, or maybe you just want to watch me do it and then you want to go back and do it yourself. That is totally fine. You are in control. This is a pre-recorded YouTube video, and that pause button, wherever it is, I don't know if you're on a tablet or a phone or your computer, but That pause button is, you are in control of it. Just pause it anytime you need to. You can slide it on back and watch something again. You can speed it up if you're like, okay, I worked ahead and I got that done already, and I don't need to hear the funny story that Karen's telling or whatever, so you're in control. If you want to slow me down, you can do that too, because you can go to the little gear and you can choose playback speed and you can slow it down. And if you find that I'm talking too slow for you on the slow down speed, you can even turn off the volume and put on the closed captioning. So really, however you want to use this video to get your cards done is up to you, including doing it in sessions. Maybe the only thing you have time for right now is just to get through card 1. Great, it'll be right here where you left it, when you come back next time. Okay, so since you've already done all your prep work, then you have a kit that's ready to assemble. And we are going to start with card 1, and card 1 is going to be our top fold Merry Christmas Lorna label card. All right, let's get going. Okay, now before we jump right into crafting, I just want to talk a little bit about this first card and the dies we're using. So the Lorna label pop-up is the foundation die for this new add-ons set that turns it into a Merry Christmas pop-up. So looking at the original Lorna label, so with that original die set, you can make this cool little, label sitting on top of a box pop-up. And it comes with little decorator labels and things, and the little fishtail banner that comes with it. All of these other embellishments are some of our other die sets. But it's just a really great generic die set that can be used year-round for any theme. And then once you have that Lorna label, then you can start investing in some of the add-ons that fit it. So the add-ons are things that will change the look of it. So we have 3 of them so far. So one of them is our Happy Birthday Lorna add-ons. So what that does is you still use your Lorna label, you still use your foundation die for the pop-up, but then you can hollow it out and put on that new word set that fits it, and then it'll change it to a floating Happy Birthday pop-up. And it comes with the little balloons and things like that, okay? So that would be the first, or one of the first add-ons we did. And then there is also, well, here, let's look at a couple more on the birthday. So, you really can, all you got to do, man, is just switch out the colors and, maybe change your card size, because you're always in control of your card size as well. September, we did a virtual class, and we did use the Happy Birthday Lorna add-on. So if you took this class, then you already had that Lorna label and you knew how to use the Happy Birthday. So this is the one we did with the Pear Blossom Press candlelight. And so it says here on the front, push here and make a wish, push here, and then the light is lit up, and then you just blow it out. It says here, blow out the candle. So that used the Happy Birthday Lorna add-ons. We also have an add-on set that fits it that's called the Just a Note Lorna add-on. So up here it'll say just a note to say, and then it also comes with the little hello and even that cute little letter. Now these little bees, they came from one of our other die sets, but you do get that little letter that comes with that set. And a nice thing about the Just a Note to Say is that there's another pop-up die called our Piano Keys pop-up that will actually fit perfectly on the front of the Lorna label. So, using the fun Just a Note, and you're using your Piano Keys notes. So lots of ways to use that Lorna. So that's a really good one. If you're new to the brand and you're looking for something to get started, a lot of people start with the Lorna. You can even just use it, hollow it out. Instead of putting one of those add-ons on it, you're going to dangle something in the opening, like in this case, some little butterfly add-ons. So yeah, there's just lots of ways to use that Lorna. It's a really, really good foundation die. And we have 3 add-ons to fit it so far, and I'm sure there will be more coming. All right, so what we're going to do then is we're going to make a cool Merry Christmas card. So let's get going here. This one is going to be, I have to remind myself, I think it's a 5x5 square. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5x5 square. I like a 5x5 square card because I can use a 5x7 A7 rectangular envelope to mail it. So I don't have to use a square envelope and have extra postage for it. I can mail it in a rectangular envelope for a single stamp. And that's why a 5x5 square is a great size for me versus like doing a 5.5 or a 6-inch square, because then you got to get, either a much bigger rectangular envelope or you have to use the squares. So, all right, I would highly suggest that you have something, a paper plate, any kind of thing to capture all your pieces. And what always ends up happening is you think you've got them all out, but there's like some little piece stuck in your baggie. And then you get to that point, and you're like, oh, where's that piece? So check your baggies when you do those out. All right, so this one's going to be a 5x5 top fold square card. So we started with a piece of cardstock. It was 10 inches by 5 inches. We scored it in the middle. Okay, and I always like to start the pop-up cards with the inside. And let's see if I can keep that open with something. That'll make it easier on the video here. It's not like I don't have tons of stuff sitting on my desk here. Okay, so we're going to start by finding the pieces of green, the squares of green cardstock. Because we're going to do a little mat. Oh, that's for the front. Hang on. You got to find the squares that fit inside those green squares. Okay, so beautiful Simple Stories paper. This one's double-sided, so, well, they're both double-sided, but so you're looking for the one that has like all over poinsettias is going to go down here, and the one that has poinsettias plus a little bit of those cool, or, you know, I mean, I guess you can flip it around. I just thought that it needed to have a little bit of break, you know, in the color to show off the Merry Christmas. So this is the combination that I used for the inside of the card. Now, what are you going to use for adhesive? That is completely up to you. If you are a tape runner sort of person, you could certainly, this is just paper to paper, you could use a tape runner to put this paper to that green square and then that green square inside your card, and the same. I'm a glue person, so my favorite is my Lineco neutral pH adhesive. So this is my very favorite glue. It dries clear, it's really strong, it holds up to the pop-ups, and I dispense it using our fine tip bottles. So we do sell those on our website. They come empty, and you put your favorite glue in it. And my favorite is that Lineco. Now, my favorite tip for keeping your glue flowing while you're crafting is to put a damp paper towel inside a jar. It doesn't have to be a beautiful clay jar. That was a gift for me from my friend Donna. It could just be a wee yogurt jar. But put a little paper towel in there and just keep that damp. And what I do every day is I just come in the morning, since I craft every day, and I've got a water bottle, and I just squirt my paper towel, a couple squirts to keep it damp. And then keep that needle tip down in that paper towel, and it'll just keep your glue flowing the whole time. But it does come that there is a lid for that has a needle tip. So every once in a while, if this gets too dry and it sucks a little paper towel up into your tip and you're trying to get it unclogged or whatever, you can always put that needle in there, you know. And at worst, you take it to the sink with some hot water and you just clear everything out. You know, take this tip off. This comes all the way off, you know, all the way off where you can take it to the sink and get some water in it. So anyway, so my favorite is glue. So I'm going to be using glue for everything today. But again, this is paper to paper. If you prefer using your tape runner, you certainly can. All right, so we're going to just glue those paper squares to those green squares and then inside the card. So I think I forgot to mention at the top when you get and how you get that prep work if you're a kit holder. So it doesn't come with your kit. It comes to, well, the goal is 10 days. This time I didn't quite make it. I think you guys got it 8 days before class. But those handouts, they're PDFs, and so they're going to come by email. So usually 10 days before class, and that's the same if you're doing our virtual classes or our Zoom classes. Everything's the same. 10 days before class, from the store where you purchased your kit, you'll get an email that has your prep work in it. And so it's going to have those printable PDF instruction files. It will have a little die guide. There's a bunch of stuff in it. It'll have the information for logging into the Zoom if it's a Zoom class. And it'll have a link to the prep work video. And the prep work video, that's where you kind of prep your kit along with me. All right, when we glue these inside the card, remember this is a top fold card. It has a direction to it. So, you know, arrange your flowers accordingly, that it is a top fold card. So for me, this one's going to be the top, you know, poinsettias to the left. Yeah, so anyway, so then you get your prep work video, and then you do that at your own speed, at your own time. You can do it in sessions. You can do it with your friends. You know, I mean, if you all taken the class together, sometimes people get together and do their prep work, you know, on a Friday night crop or something. So fun stuff. We're going to center these right in the panels of our interior card. Okay. But yeah, so then once you have your prep work done, then you're ready for the class day video, which is what you're watching now. And I'm recording this a couple days early now. Some of you may be here fresh from Zoom class because we typically do one class a month, and we'll rotate. We'll do a couple Zooms, then we'll do a virtual, a couple Zooms. But because of our release schedule, we weren't able to offer a class in October. So this virtual class got bumped to November, the same day as the Zoom class. So we did a Zoom class in the morning. This one is premiering in the afternoon. And some people may have chosen to craft all day. Love it. I love your dedication if you are. But it's, you know, if you're tired, this will still be here. It'll be here. All right, so now we've got the background of our card ready for the pop-up. So let's talk about the pop-up. So you cut this during prep work using that Lorna label base foundation die. So you use the pop-up die itself, you nest it in the largest decorator die and cut it at the same time. And that way, instead of having a solid label pop-up like you saw at the top here, you know, instead of your pop-up being a solid label, because you nested that decorator die in and cut it at the same time, then it has an opening in it. And that opening is the exact size of our add-ons, our Merry Christmas add-ons. So with this one, now this is from the add-on set. So the add-ons die, oh, where did I put it over here? Sorry. The add-ons die only adds on the pieces you need to convert your Lorna label pop-up into a Merry Christmas pop-up. So some people just use these on their own. You can certainly use that cool little Merry Christmas label on the front of a card. But the die set comes with the frame that has the shadow, the letters for Merry, the word Christmas, 2 different snowflakes, holly with a holly shadow, and some little berries. So you can see those dies on the back. Now, see here how the die has some openings in the die that correspond to the word Merry. That is so you can use the die as a placement tool to put your block letters on and have the perfect shadow. So one of the things that you did during prep work is after you die cut the shadow piece, you used the stencil feature to add the white lines, the stitch lines if you wanted to. So that was done with the stenciling through the die. Die has stitch lines in it. Okay, stencil feature. Then you kept the paper in the die and you took those Merry letters and you just sunk them right through the die and onto the red cardstock, and then you get the perfect shadow and you don't have to figure it out. You know, the die will place it for you. Okay, now it doesn't have an opening for you to do the Christmas word because, well, you don't really need it when it's a all connected word like this. So I'm just looking to see if I inked anything. You can always feel free to ink things, you know, it's your card, not my card. You can do what you please. I didn't ink this, I just glued it on. But this is probably, if you had been using a tape runner up till now, this is probably where you definitely want to switch to your glue to glue your Christmas word on. So, and then again, you know, this Christmas word and the Merry, those can be used independent of the pop-up, so you can certainly grab these when you just need to have a nice greeting for a card. Okay, so let me put that off so I can see what I'm doing here. So you're just going to center that in. It's pretty easy to do. Give yourself a nice little shadow all the way around. If you're using that line coat, it will dry clear. That's kind of one of my favorite features because I'm a little sloppy with my glue sometimes. But yeah, just go ahead and get that Christmas on there. So yeah, that's pretty. Now, if you have the Lorna label set, well, you do if you've, you know, if you're doing this class, you do. But then you can also like back that with a solid die, you know, or put it on a solid Lorna. So it doesn't always have to be hollowed out. If you could, you know, so for instance, you could use that Merry Christmas, you know, on the front of a card, or you could use it on a solid Lorna without hollowing it out, you know. So if you had a really busy pattern paper behind it and you didn't want the holes in it because you didn't want to make it hard to read, you could certainly just do it on a solid Lorna label. So lots of possibilities. But for us, we're going to put it onto our pop-up here. Okay, so for this one, the only place that's going to get the adhesive is just right around the inside perimeter, you know. Or if you prefer, you can turn this one over and just, maybe that's easier because maybe I'll do it that way because you can probably see the glue easier on the red. But either way, so it's just the perimeter. It's going to get the glue all the way around. Okay. And then that will fit that opening just perfectly, but this is a thin border, so it may move a little bit on you as you're placing it. I found the best success with starting at the bottom. Start at the bottom, get that little point lined up perfectly, right? And kind of drop it and let it go down. But then what you may have to do up here at the top is you may have to push it until it's right on the edge, okay? Because it has a little play in it, you know, because it's such a thin piece. So you may have to push it just a bit. Okay, you can also turn it over and just see how you did, you know. Apparently I did really well. Better than I usually do. Okay. So now we've added our Merry Christmas. And again, if I'm going too fast for you, just pause. Just pause, freeze frame, whatever you need to do till you know, are ready to move on. The next step is we are going to work all the folds in this piece. So the die has done the folding for you. Hopefully you can see those lines pretty easily, even though this is a textured cardstock. And typically I wouldn't, oh, I've got a little tape on mine from when I die cut. Typically I wouldn't use a textured cardstock in a class, but I liked this one. So I went ahead and used it anyway, and it folds pretty easily. So that's nice. Up here at the top, there is a tab that is tapered. See how it has those little tapered? Right at the base of that taper, you're going to see a score line that goes all the way across that tab. I always find it easier to break that fold by folding towards myself. Okay, so I break the fold by going towards myself, and then I immediately reverse it because that is a mountain fold. Now you can, if you have a bone folder, you can feel free to crisp up those folds as you do them with the bone folder. You don't have to. You know, it'll work just fine with just a finger pinch. But if you like a nice crisp fold, you can use your bone folder. Okay, then this whole thing is going to fold right where it connects to the top of the label here. Okay, and that really, you don't need a bone folder for that because those are little small connections, just a little pinch. So now we've done the up and over. Okay, let's pull our card back. Kind of warping my card from flattening it like that. Well, it'll be fine. See, we've just done the up and over. All right. Okay. Maybe I won't squish that out quite like I did that again. Sorry, sweet card. Okay. All right, let's get down here to these little tabs on the side. So the tabs on the side, maybe, now this one, they may be a little harder to see because of the texture, okay? So just look for those folds. And at worst, if you were like, I just really can't see where they are. Oops, wrong bag. Where's our Lorna? Oh, I dropped it on the floor. Hang on. At worst, you could, see, put it up next to your die, and that'll help you see where the fold is, right? If you're having a hard time finding it, okay? Sometimes if you kind of let go and trust, and what I mean by that is you put your thumbnail in the approximate area and you go behind there and just start bending, it's going to want to fold where the fold is, you know? The cardstock knows where it is, even if you can't see it, okay? So those two little tabs, they are also going to be mountain folds, which means they fold to the back. And you don't really need a bone folder for those because they are small folds. All right, so now what we have down here is we have two folds because we have a little box, okay? So we have a fold across the middle, and then we have a fold next to the tapered tab on the bottom, okay? Now, what can be confusing on the Lorna is depending on the thickness of the cardstock, you may be seeing, hey, there's two lines really close together on both sides, okay? You're looking for the top and the bottom one, okay? What you're seeing inside that is just a little shadow of the open area of the die. So the die itself is open in that area, and when you use those thicker cardstocks, you can get kind of a little embossed box inside the box, if that makes sense. So if you really look at it closely, that inner box is raised, all right? And the score lines are pressed in. But what you do is it's the first line you come to from the top and the first line you come to from the bottom. And again, if you just tease it forward, you know, it's going to go all the way across and it's going to want to fold on that line, okay? And you can certainly fold it the whole way, valley fold, but it is going to be a mountain fold. So we're going to mountain fold it. That's a big long one. If you want to bone fold it, you can. Okay. And then the one on the taper tab, I'm just going to flip it around so I can, again, it's going to be the first one I come to. It's going to be right at the edge of the taper. First fold I come to. First line, I guess I should say. It's the only fold, but it's the first line I come to because sometimes it can be, you know, a little confusing with that other line. All right, and then I'm going to reverse that. That is also going to be a mountain fold. Okay. There is only one valley fold in the whole piece. Valley fold meaning I'm looking into the valley, and that's right at the base of the label to bring it up. So this is the only valley fold. Everything else is a mountain fold, meaning you're folding away from yourself. So that is it. And that is the folding of the Lorna label, whether you're doing it solid, whether you're doing it with Merry Christmas, whether you're doing it with Happy Birthday, whether you're doing it with Just a Note, it's always the same folds, okay? We're not quite ready to put this in the card yet because we're going to do some additional decorating, but I wanted to get the folds in it, okay? So now I'm going to ask you to return everything back out to flat again, okay? Now we've got those folds in it. It'll remember them. It'll be no problem. All right, let's talk about some additional decoration for this piece. So in that Merry Christmas add-ons, there is, that's the wrong piece, sorry. There is a shadow die, okay, for the holly. So that was cut out of the darker green, not the darker green that's just the holly. Those are going to be used for the poinsettia on the front, but just the shadow one. And then we did the lighter green holly pieces, and we actually added the double-sided adhesive tape to the back before die cutting. That did two things. It made them a sticker, which is really nice for class day, but more importantly, the extra cushion of that tape pushed that paper up through the die, and then it made it really easy to pounce some green ink through the stencil feature and get those veins onto the holly, okay? And you didn't have to swap your machine out to a embossing sandwich. So that was what's nice about using the double-sided adhesive. Okay, so we're going to just put that on there. And actually, you know, we can go ahead and make all three of them. So just go ahead and dig through your kit pieces and find the other two dark green shadow pieces, and then your light green sticker holly. If I can find it. There it is. There it is. Okay. It's so funny because it doesn't matter if it's like virtual class day or a Zoom class day, and today is both, is I always have like this slight panic when I can't find the piece that I didn't tell you to cut it. You know what I mean? That I got something wrong on the prep work side. So I'm always happy when I check them. I like pull them out and I, you know, lay pictures out. Some of you saw in the prep work video that I had missed a piece on one of the cards. Oh, I don't know if it was for this class. It might have been for Zoom, but and I have to, you know, then go back and tell you, no, do that. So I try to check them, but there's so many pieces that it can be easy to miss some. All right, the little tiny berries, we cut those out of a red mirror cardstock, and once again, we put the double-sided adhesive on the back so that they would be stickers. That was more about not losing the piece than it was about any kind of emboss, although you do get a little nice emboss on the berries that way. Tweezers might be helpful for this. You'll see that the shadow is meant for it to be a pyramid, right? So the one berry at the top and the two berries at the bottom. I don't think it would much matter if you spun it around a different way. I don't think it's that important, you know, that it completely match the shape of the shadow. But if you want it to match the shape of the shadow, then it will be a one berry on top, two berries on the bottom. I think it looks like a little fidget spinner. I was thinking like, oh, it's really tiny though. Could it work as a fidget spinner for like our little animal dies or something? That'd be cute. That's might be a little small for that. All right, so what we're going to do with our holly is one of them, we're going to suspend it actually on the pop-up, and it's going to fill in this space below Christmas. And you don't want a bunch of stray adhesive in a pop-up. So as you see, it's only going to be the lower section of the dark green that's going to touch the pop-up. So make sure that's the only place that you're putting adhesive. If your adhesive dries clear, you can probably be a little... Now let's see, what's the easiest way to do this? Let me see. I think the easiest way to do this might be to lay it over the top. Look for the area on the stitches where it's going to hit. Let's see, close. See that glue here and here? And then just take one of your holly pieces into that glue and let's suspend it out over the open area of the pop-up. All right, lovely. Okay, and we'll save these two. They're going to end up going inside the card up in the upper right corner. All right, continuing on with our pop-up. So we had you cut during prep work, just a piece of red cardstock that was a little bit smaller than the box area of your pop-up, okay? So just so, you know, you'd have a little shadow around it. Now, there isn't a die for this. That's just something that we did with our trimmer. And mainly because I knew that the greetings were going to be on white. So I wanted the contrast. I didn't want the white on the cream. So I had you cut just a piece of cardstock to change the color of that lower box to red. Okay, so you're just going to center that on the piece. All right, and then the greetings, I was just using them today, and I've been using them with red ink, so my my whole set has turned red. But so you had the option on the greetings. We did. Oh, I'm missing fa la 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 la. I still have that on a. Not to find that. Okay, all right, that's for after class. Got to find my fa la 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 la. It's probably still sitting on my acrylic block. You had the option as to whether or not you cut out the fa la 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 la, or whether you cut out the and Happy New Year. And what we had the kit makers do is we had those already kind of I would say pre-stamped, but actually I let them print them because they're making so many kits. So, and then I gave you a little guideline around it during prep work where you could die cut that perfectly using your fishtail banner. So since I had used the fa la 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 on my first original, I decided to use and Happy New Year on this one, but you had the choice of doing either. Those of you who are not kit holders, or if you wanted to make these cards again, you'd be looking for the Season of Cheer clear stamps. And then you would just stamp that and cut it out with the fishtail banner. If you are a person that likes the look of inked edges, I'm going to use a little bit of red ink. I like Distress ink, so I've got some fired brick here and a blending tool. Very optional. Certainly don't have to ink the edges of your greeting. But if you like that look, hit that with a little ink. Okay, and then we're just going to center that and glue it over that red cardstock. And since you did get both greetings, then you've got one for the, you know, you want to make this card again with either your leftover materials. That's one nice thing about you cutting your own kit is you get your own, you get all your leftovers. And sometimes there's enough leftovers to make another card. You have the other greeting, you know, for your next card if you don't have that stamp set. Okay, I think we will wait on snowflakes until we get this in the card, and then it's popped up, and then you can kind of decide where you want your snowflakes, you know, and just press them onto the pop-up. All right, so installing the Lorna, I'm going to take those off for now, could not be easier. The important thing is that we want the center fold of the box to be directly over the fold of the card. And the easiest way to make sure that happens is to temporarily invert so that it's a valley fold. So, and then you kind of bend your card a little bit, and then look how you can just set that down in there, lining up that fold right over the fold of the card. So the fold here is right over the fold of the card. And then you can slide that back and forth until you get it where you like it, where it is centered. So for me, the easiest way to see that it's centered is just to be looking out here at how much paper is on either side, you know, versus having to, you know, try and figure it out from the red. I can figure it out from, assuming I centered these pretty nicely. Okay, what we want to do once we've got that lined up, okay, so fold is in the fold. We want to make sure it doesn't move. Okay, so I'm going to lay it flat on the table. I'm not going to let it move. And I'm going to attach these two little small tabs to the card. So the glue needs to go on top of the tab, and then we kick it under and press it to the card. Okay, see how the tab is attached underneath there? I don't know if you can see that very easily, but that's where it is. Okay, I would recommend glue, or a miniature glue dot would work as well, but I like glue for this. Okay, so you've got to make sure it doesn't move. Fold is right over the fold. It's nice and straight. Is mine straight? Hang on. Okay, now it's straight. I'm going to add my glue to this little small tab. I really want to show that closer to the camera, so I'm going to risk lifting it up. So I've got glue right there on that tab. So the tab is out. I've added glue to it. Okay, then making sure everything is right over the fold, centered to my liking, I'm going to kick it under and press it to the card. Okay, and then don't do anything except go to the next one. Little small tab, glue on the tab, kick it under, attach it to the card. Okay, then you can relax. Once those tabs are on, it's set the location of your pop-up, okay? So it's set now, so now you don't have to hold it anymore, okay? All right, so we're still gonna leave it flat. The next one we're gonna do is this top tapered tab. So same thing, the tab is out, meaning, you can see it, okay? You got a little wiggle in your card, because it's only connected on that little small thing down here, okay? So just make sure it's nice and straight and flat. We're going to add the adhesive all over that tapered tab at the top. Okay, get closer to the camera. Focus. There it goes. Okay, now we're going to kick it under. We want to do this in the flat position. Okay, so everything is flat when we do this. All right, so we kick it under. Keep everything nice and flat. Press it to the card. You're going to see as you pick it up to kick it under that it's going to go woo like that. So just make sure that it stays nice and straight as you do. Okay, relax again. Now we got the whole top part attached. Now normally, if you're doing a Lorna label in which the label is solid, if it's solid, this one's not solid, but if it were solid and you watch the assembly video for the Lorna, you would do the same thing in that flat position with this final tab, and then you'll train it afterwards, okay? I find that when we're doing the word add-ons, so that goes for happy birthday, that goes for Merry Christmas, that goes for just a note, I think that it's a lot to try to train a more intricate, hollowed out pop-up from fully flat to fully popped up. So I prefer this method of attaching this final tab. And this is how I do it, okay? I grab the side of my Merry Christmas label and I'm going to rotate the whole pop-up up until it's laying on its back on this upper part of the card. So, okay, let me start over again. I'm on flat. I'm going to take that side of that Merry Christmas and I'm going to just rotate it up, okay, until I can just lay it flat on this back side of the card, or this upper side of the card. Okay, I'm going to get a little closer. See that? So that's laying flat. That is actually the flat, well, not yet because we haven't folded this down. But as far as the Merry Christmas goes, that's how it's going to be when the card is closed, okay? But now, right now, we cannot see our second greeting, so we need to fold on that center box fold. And now we're in the completely flat position, okay? So this, if you had X-ray vision, this is how it would look when the card is closed, all right? And we've got that tapered tab sticking out here, and you can see that tapered tab is kind of close to the edge of the green, right? That's about where it's sitting. So it's not down here at the fold, it's up here. All right, now we're going to leave everything nice and flat. We're going to add, mine's not very straight, but we'll see how it does. Or you know what, it's probably my paper. Come to think of it, I could have not been very straight with my paper. Okay, I'm going to add my adhesive all over that tapered tab. I'm going to keep everything nice and flat over here. I'm going to close the card against the tab and pick it up. Okay, I wonder what that is. Now you got to be a little patient with glue. Okay, because it's gonna, the first time you open it, it's gonna say, the card's gonna say, am I stronger than the glue? You know what I mean? And it's gonna try and just pull the tab up instead of, pulling your pop-up up. So my suggestion is just let it open as far as it wants to open. Take your thumbs, push them against that box. See how it just popped off? Yeah, I didn't give it enough time. Hang on. Let me try that again. It's not just you. That happens. It happens to me too, where it's like I haven't given it enough time. But the thing that you don't want to do when that happens, when your tab pops off or whatever, is you don't want to then go, oh, I'll just set it down. You know what I mean? I'll just do it here, because you don't want to guess. You still want the card to tell you where it goes. So just re-glue it, give it a little more time. Okay, but this is what I'm saying about what I like to do is as I let it open, I take my thumbs against the middle fold of that box and I am helping it open, okay? So that I'm not relying just on the pop-up to keep it, to keep it from popping off. And then you can actually go all the way to flat or close to flat, as, close as you can get it. If it has a little bubble in it like mine, that's fine. It's not a problem, because you're not ever gonna look at it fully open like this. But, and then you can give it a really good press in that open position. Okay, that is it. Now that is it. So you can see it's going to fold down. It's going to pop up. The viewing angle on this one is 90 degrees, or maybe a little bit beyond, so it doesn't try and, maybe a little bit more than 90. But you're certainly not, nobody's going to open it all the way to, it's going to be a display piece like this, like a 90-degree pop-up. Isn't that easy? Oh, that's so easy. So easy. Really pretty too, and I love those Simple Stories papers. Okay, so let's add some snowflakes to this. So in that add-on set, you get snowflakes. Let me just pull them all out. We'll grab the colors we need. It's going to be the white ones or the green ones, I guess. Yeah, so I'm just grab all my snowflakes. All right, so let's do a little snowflake separation here. We are going with the bigger one with the little circles out on the ends. Okay, and we're going for 2 of these kind of stick snowflakes. All right, that's what we're going to put on the pop-ups. So none of these. Some of those are for the front of the card. All right, so it's up to you. What I did is I put a little cluster of the big and the small in this upper corner, and then I put one of the stick snowflakes in this lower corner. Okay, here's the advice that I can give you as you add embellishments to your pop-up. Okay, always press against your finger. So, and put your adhesive on only where the item is going to touch the pop-up. So see, I want to put that snowflake right there. That's a good spot for it. So I just take note of where my adhesive can go. Throw a couple dots. It doesn't take much to hold up a pattern paper snowflake. Okay. And then when I put that on, I'm going to pinch against my finger. Okay, because you don't want to rip your pop-up in pressing against it. So pinch it between your finger. I don't think you can get it too far out, but obviously if you went too far out, it would stick out of the card, but that one's no problem. All right, and then one of my little stick snowflakes next to it, kind of like a little snowflake cluster. Little adhesive up here. Once again, I'm going to press against my finger. You can always, once you get it to start set up, you can always close the card and give it a press, but it just depends on how sloppy you were with your glue, you know what I mean? Well, you don't really want to transfer glue down over here while it's wet, so just pinch against your fingers. Okay. And you will get glue on your fingers, you know, through this process. Okay, I like this one down in this little corner right here. Something like this. Okay, that's artist choice. You can certainly put those wherever you want to. All right, lovely. Okay, not a ton of extra decoration for the inside of the card. I did think that I had a little bit of a weight issue on the, this being so heavy on this side with the pattern and then kind of nothing up here. And so my solution for that was just to make a little garland of holly. And let me tell you how many times I messed around with this. Like, did I want it like this? Which I kind of liked as well. I had a hard time deciding. So I was like, did I want to do it like this? Did I want to do it like one up and one down, so it was more straight? Yeah, I mean, really, honestly, you can't go wrong with this. What I ended up sticking with was going with them a curve that kind of matched the, the curve of the card, is what I ended up doing. But that is completely up to you. Completely up to you how you want to do that. Let's see, did I go to the, I kind of did to the edge of the green, is what I did. So maybe something like this and something like that. But yeah, there's no wrong way to do that. That's just completely up to you. Okay, and then we cut one of the little stick snowflakes. I guess I'm calling it a stick snowflake because it kind of reminds me of branches, like little sticks. And that out of red. And I thought that would look pretty up here and kind of balance the red and the green from the other side. All right, there's the background decoration. And then down here, we just need a place to sign the card. So from the Lorna label pop-up, had you cut a plaid from one of the pattern papers. And then, this one, I really probably should have had you cut it. In fact, I did on this one. I didn't do that in prep work. If I'd been smart in prep work, I would have had you cut from the flat side of the oval so it'll be easier to write on. This one, the textured side, might be a little bit more difficult to sign. So I'm going to leave that up to you as to whether you put this oval on, those of you with kits, or whether you want to recut it from the back. Or you could use this one on the back, but I just don't think that the press dots are as pretty as they are on the front. But whatever you decide to do, I didn't even think of that, but yeah. Sometimes I'll do that if I've got textured cardstock, is when I want to make the place to sign, I just cut it from the back so that it's, you know, flat. But clearly I forgot that instruction. Trying to decide if I care how badly I centered that. Nope, I don't care. The snowflakes will balance it out. This can go anywhere. Where do you think it should go? Do you like it more off-center? Do you like it in the center? Do you like it a little bit lower than center? This is kind of where I put it. But that's just about having a place to sign the card. So, or maybe if you know you want to write this way, you could put it vertical. Okay, and then for snowflakes for this one, we're going to do another little cream stick snowflake and the gold ball snowflake. The one with the balls on the end. Circles on the end. Maybe we'll say circles. Let's say circles instead of balls. Oh my goodness. Y'all, recording these things live, you get what you get. They're not carefully edited. I'll tell you, I was going to get this footage yesterday. I was going to film this yesterday. That was my plan. It was all on my agenda and everything. And where my office is right at the front of the house. I have a home office. And over there, there's like a bay window. It looks out onto the street. And that's where my computer is. And y'all, I look outside. I was actually on a FaceTime meeting or Zoom meeting with my business partner, Tanya. And she heard me go, no! She says, what? There was a wood chipper out on the street outside. And I guess they had been doing they'd removed some trees in the green space. And they had brought in a very large wood chipper for a very large pile of tree limbs. And then they fired that wood chipper up. And you all would not have liked me filming this class competing with the wood chipper. You would not have liked that. So I postponed for a day. So that's the next day from that. All right, let's talk about the front of our card. So what I like to do with pop-up cards is I like to design the inside first. That's the way it's going to be displayed. That's kind of where the magic is. And then I'm not about doubling my work. I'm just trying to make like a simple lead-in, something that, you know, kind of leads you to the magic inside. And my idea for this one was to use more of those beautiful pattern papers to fill in most of the space. And then since we had the photo fan and the charm rings and the snow charms as part of our required dies, then I could go to those other, you know, die sets to make some fun little frames and all that. Then I thought it would be fun to actually create a poinsettia flower out of those holly leaves. So we're going to do that too. So well, let's see. You know what we can do? We can actually build our entire card front on this piece of green plaid paper, and that'll be easier because you're not fighting the pop-up inside. So you're going to start with your pattern paper, which is a little bit smaller than the green. Again, if you're if you prefer I will say if you put this side up, it's going to be hard to see your embellishments, but I leave it to you. All right, let's see. So that's going to be centered. Okay, and then let's just do an easy one first. Let's just do this snowflake charm, okay, from our snow charms. One of our gold frames. So those were cut using the photo fan die set. So that's one of our required dies this month. So I went ahead and had you nest the small squares into large squares and cut some gold frames. So you actually cut 3 of them for the front of this card. Okay. All right. So the middle one is going to get that snowflake from our snow charms. The snow charms, this one has that snowflake. That is already a charm. So that means it has a charm hole on the top, okay, that we can dangle it off of this frame. How are we going to dangle it? We're going to use the charm rings. Okay. So this, I told you, you're going to love these charm rings. Maybe not the flashiest of die to look at, but the utilitarianness of it, I think that's a word, is amazing. what this does is it makes paper jump rings. So that's great for dangling your charms. It keeps your weight down. You don't have to get metal jump rings. You don't have to get your pliers out, to open your metal jump rings. It has 3 sizes of paper jump ring. And then these little magical pieces you can use to add a charm hole to the top of any embellishment. So you can turn it into a charm. So you've got double duty here. You got 3 sizes of charm ring. Kind of tells you down here how it works. It cuts multiple, so it'll cut you 4 charm rings at a time from whatever size you want. The difference between these is just in the size of the charm hole itself. So do you want a really small charm hole like this, or do you want one that's a little bit larger? So the little circle part, that's the same on all of them. It's the charm hole at the top that's a little bit different. All right, and we use the smallest charm ring. Okay, so the way these work, let's see if I can get close to the camera here. Okay, they're basically hinged. Ooh, it's really having a hard time with the focus, isn't it? Let's see if I hold still. It's a hinge right there, see? And if you bend on that hinge, then this side comes up and completes the circle. And you've got enough overlap to glue it together. Okay, so basically you've got a hinged little ring. Okay, and what I like to do is I like to think about the one side of the hinge is basically almost the entire circle, right? And then this part that's hinged away, that's kind of like the smile, just the little smile, right? I generally find it's easier to hook the big part of the circle, so the one that's going to be most of it, around wherever you're trying to dangle your charm from, right? And then just take your finger and kind of hold it in position. And then you've just got the smile. Now we've just got the smile side out here. So we're going to take the snowflake charm and we're going to dangle it from the smile side. So see, just get the smile side through the hole at the top of the charm. Okay, with me so far? All right, then back on that first half that you put hooked up and over the frame, I can just put a little adhesive. You see that right there? Okay, then I just hinge that up and into that adhesive until it's a circle. And then just pinch it between my fingers. Okay, so that's all there is to it. And then you're gonna have your snowflake dangling off of your frame. Okay, awesome. All right, that's gonna be our middle one. We won't glue that down yet because we want to get them all done before we start gluing. Okay, there's that. Oh, you know what? Is this light? Of course it is. Wow, I should have put that on first. Well, okay, so you get choices here. Do you want to put your stripe? The easiest is to put your stripe all the way across, green to green, because it's already that size. On this one, it looks like I trimmed it to fit the edge of the inner pattern paper. Oh, you know what? That's fine because we have something going over the top. Never mind. Easy enough. I can solve that. All right, just snip it somewhere, right? Put this half over here. Okay, and then put this half to the edge here. And don't worry about the seam because you're going to put the wishing you a season of cheer right over the top anyway. We're going to pretend I did that on purpose. All right, how far up? Up to you. Looks to me like I did where you could see. You know what? There's a little line in the paper. It makes a really nice, easy. Let's see if I can show you. This little line in the paper right there. That made it really easy to put that on. It's just decorative, so it doesn't matter if it goes exactly the same spot. Okay, so there's that. And then for the greeting, the wishing you a season of cheer, we're just going to frame that with one of those gold frames. And if you like the look that I have with the inking around the edges, you can certainly do that. So for that one, I would probably do that flat. So what I mean by that is find something you can ink against, okay? And then I'm not even going to put I'm not even going to ink up my thing. I'm going to see how much ink is on it, okay? Because I can always add more, but it's hard to take it off. I like to do a swirl, and I just kind of start off of it and then just start swirling onto the piece, kind of going around. Light touch, because you can always add more. I'm just going to kind of swirl it on. You have a second one of these, so if you just absolutely hated the inking job that you did, you could go back and cut the other one, or if you, oh, see, I had tape on that. That's lucky I'm putting a frame on that. Oh, look at how nicely I just masked off that. Doesn't matter, I'm putting a frame over it. Okay, so there's some ink. And then the frame, one of your gold frames, go around it. Very nice. All right, and then that's gonna, actually we can go ahead and glue that one on. Okay, because that'll kind of set the location for the others. So I would just do an equal amount showing here and here, you know, having it be pretty close to that side. Something like this. Okay, so see, I just kind of kept an equal amount here and here. All right, and then we've got this one to go here. All right, now we get to make that poinsettia. That's the last bit for this class, or for this card, and then we'll move on to the other one. All right, so you need to get out all of the holly leaves that you cut. So these are out of the Merry Christmas Lorna add-ons. And what I had you do is I had you cut the red ones and the green ones, just 2 at a time. That way you could cut them faster, and because the extra cushion would push the paper up through the die and you get that veining in it. Okay, and I didn't have you stencil them. All right. So here's how you do it. I think I gave you a diagram. Hang on. Did I give you a diagram, or did I just think about doing it? Oh no, I just said just use it. It was pretty easy. I debated about it. I was like, do they need a diagram for that? Okay, here's what I did. Okay, so you take red ones, and you're basically trying to make a star shape out of 5 red poinsettia leaves, okay? And you can leave them together like this, and then all you have to do is just take one and snip it in half, okay? So let me show you what I mean. So I can take one of my red poinsettias, I can put a little adhesive right in the center at the seam, okay? And I'm basically putting those two where they're opposite each other, like they're making 4/5 of a star. Then a little glue in the center. Okay, and then I can put my single to complete the star. Makes sense. I mean, there is a way to do it where you just like do all 10 of, you know what I mean? Like you can do it, but I just find it easier if you just make 2 stars and then overlap them. Okay, so there's the first star. So now I'm going to take 2 more. Okay. I really should have used that one as my leftover because it had a little divot cut out of it from when I did the prep work. But I didn't, so it'll just be an imperfect poinsettia. Okay, so now I'm going to make a second star flower with my other single leaf. So you will end up with 1 left over because you only needed 5 of these, 5 little holly pieces, but I was having you cut them 2 at a time, so you end up with another one. And if you end up wanting to tuck a couple extra leaves in, you could do that. All right, so now I've got 2 poinsettia stars, and all I have to do is glue one over the top and rotate them so it fills in. Okay. So again, I'm using mostly glue in the center because I'm going to put this all down on the card anyway. You know, it just has to hold enough together while we're constructing it. And, you know. All right, so you can do the same thing with the green ones. Did we do? Oh, I guess we only did 4 of those. I guess we only need 4 of those. You can either do it where, let's do this. Sorry, let me complete my sentence here. Find the little gold berries that we used double-sided adhesive on the back, and let's put that in the center. Okay, so now you just have to mix in your green leaves, and it may be easier to do that by just ripping them in half so that you have individual leaves. You know, that's up to you. And that way you can place them wherever you want and how far out you want. You know, they don't, you know, in other words, you can stick it in between the leaves and stick it, you know, it's wherever you want them to go. Okay. And I don't even, it looks to me like I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 individual leaves. So I didn't use all of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. You know, but it's up to you. Okay. So again, I'm kind of stick in the center. I think if I just stick in the center for the leaves, maybe I should be using my nonstick. Kind of find a spot. Maybe one there. Although it would have been better over here. We'll rotate that. Kind of if you have open spots, you know, it might be a good spot for a leaf. And you can put more. It's up to you. It doesn't matter. Maybe you do want 5 so it's more symmetrical. Oh no, I did use 5. Sorry. Maybe you want 6. We do have a new poinsettia die. It doesn't make like a tiny poinsettia like this, although you can make it smaller. We did that in the Zoom class earlier today. We made that poinsettia a little bit smaller, but not this small. So this is kind of a fun way to use those holly leaves to make a very small poinsettia. Okay, I think I'm going to call that good. Isn't that cute? Okay, now here's where you get to do those cool making something into a charm, because I had you die cut the charm holes, and they cut 2 at a time. You only need 1, but they cut 2 at a time. So basically what it is you've got that big circle to glue behind an embellishment, and then the little circle, you know, sticks up, and then it becomes a charm. Now let's say you were doing something really small and you didn't have enough space to get the whole circle. You can absolutely, you don't need much space to glue behind something. So I'm trying to think if I had something I wanted to make a charm that's real small. Well, okay, here's a little snow angel. Okay, let's say I wanted to make that snow angel a charm. Actually, I think we're doing that on the next card you're about to see. So see the little, you know, there's some of that showing. Well, then you would just trim it until it fits behind what you're trying to make into a charm. See? Okay, so those are little powerful, mighty little charm holes. I think you're going to really like those. All right, and then we're going to use another one of our charm rings. Now, if you remember, you've got the smile hinge at the. I like to hinge it first just to loosen up the fold. Okay, then I like to take that's the overall hook. I like to put that over from behind the piece and just hold it with my finger. Then I've got a little smile right here. I'm going to take my new poinsettia charm. I'm going to drop it onto the smile. Add my adhesive on the hook at the top. Hinge the smile up and into that adhesive until it makes a circle, and then just pinch it between my fingers. Okay, there you go. One cute little dangling poinsettia for our card. All right, so now you just get to decide where these go. And we are going to glue them down. I mean, the effect of it dangling is just a visual effect and not a real actual dangle, I guess, so to speak. Okay, so I think I'm going to do something like this. And then I thought what would look cool is having the frames. So, you know, I'm going to come in a little bit this way. Having a little overlap of the frames down here. Let me put this one closer. See, maybe just a little overlap in the corners. But where this goes is completely up to you. So, in fact, if maybe I'll start with the snowflake so I can avoid this one. Okay. I'm going to start with the snowflake, and I'm just going to get the 3 sides of the frame. Ooh, maybe not that upper one, so I can tuck the other one. I guess I'll go over. Okay, so something like this. I'm just doing the frame right now. Okay, and then I've got my snowflake still loosey-goosey, you know, so I can kind of decide what angle I want it. You know, you can flip that charm ring, whichever side you think is prettiest. You know, one side's been die cut into, so maybe you want to have that side showing. And then once you've got an angle and a location for your snowflake that you like, then you can just glue it down. Okay, and I decided to go just at a little bit of an angle, just to kind of enhance the... Now, if that like makes your eye twitch, just make it straight. So some people don't like it when it's don't like cattywampus things, and that's okay. Okay, so again with the poinsettia, I'm going to start with just getting the frame down, and I'm going to do a little overlap on that snowflake one, just a smidge. Okay. And then I still got a loosey-goosey poinsettia, but I would not want that to be loose like that. In fact, I may even go in and glue some of the leaves. Oh, pardon me. My goodness. You know, like if that leaf is up, you know, and you feel like it's going to get loose, then you could glue it down. My goodness, I'm gonna have to go get my water, y'all. I'm almost done with this one. Take a little break. Get my water. Okay, here we go. And again, I think that one leaf, go ahead and glue that down. Cute. This one, I could probably rotate it just a bit this way, even that up. You can still, you're probably still able to mess a little bit with the location of your upper leaves anyway, you know, to even out your poinsettia. All right, well, that's the front of the card. Now, take it from me. Take a moment to look. Remember, this is a top fold card. Okay, so this would be where you'd put your front of your thing. Unless you happen to want to make a bottom fold card, right? You know, if you want them to pull it out of the envelope and this is here and they open it this way. Some people like bottom fold cards. I'm a fan of a top fold because I like that it stands on the table like this. But anyway, make sure that you're orienting it correctly for the top fold card. Okay, there we go. Card one down. All right, I'm gonna go grab my water and get set up for card two. It won't take any time for you. I'll be right back. Okay, I did go get my water, but I forgot there was another card I wanted to show before we move on to card two, and that is the one that's on the packaging, because this one very much just used the Lorna with the Merry Christmas add-ons, and I just kind of wanted to show some ideas. So you can use the frame around the Merry Christmas on its own. You just have to take your scissors and snip out the shadow word for Merry Christmas, and then it just becomes a nice little frame, and then you can use maybe your Lorna label to die cut out a greeting or something, and then that little, you know, holly over the edge. So that's kind of a fun look. These are actually just the 2 snowflakes out of the set, and I just cut them out of a whole bunch of different colors and just used them in the background. Then inside, this is another kind of fun idea. We were talking about how to use that holly, and then maybe you could make a swag with it. Oh, I'm not even on camera here. Hang on. I gotta do this. My head has to go this way, and my arms have to go this way. Yeah, so you can make like kind of fun swags using the holly. And then again with just those snowflakes. And then this is kind of a fun idea too. So, you know, your holly is not at an angle where you couldn't bend it, you know, or if you had to snip and put it back together again so that it could be at a tighter angle, then and then just cover the center with berries, then you can make like little corner pieces from your holly as well. So just fun things to do with that die set. So just want to show that. All right, now we're going to go on to card two. Okay, back with card two. Card two is going to be our doubled up photo fan pop-up holiday card here. Okay, so on our required dies, we're kind of switching to the other ones that we're going to use pretty extensively on this one. So we're going to use the photo fan pop-up, we're going to use the snow charms, and we're going to use those charm rings again, that like we used on the first card. And then we're not going to end up using anything out of the Merry Christmas add-ons. I did debate about those snowflakes, but there's snowflakes in the snow charms too, so I just used those. There was a couple pieces out of your foundation die, the Lorna label, that we did use to cut like the Merry Christmas and the oval for inside of the card. But the majority of this card is going to be these 3 dies. You know, the photo fan, the snow charms, and the charm rings. All right, talking first about the photo fan. So I mentioned to you that it really isn't a Christmas die. It's a generic die, so it can be used for Christmas, but it can be used year-round. And what it makes is a very cool generic pop-up that is particularly nice with photos. That's kind of why it's called the photo fan. This is the one that's on the packaging. You can fit that photo fan in an A2 size card. This one's, I think, a 4.5-inch square, but like this one from the assembly video is an A2 size card. So you can absolutely do that in an A2 size card. So in that die set, you're getting some generic pieces in addition to your photo fan and the pieces to decorate your photo fan. Then you're also getting 3 sets of squares. So the outer and the inner square, you get 3 sets of them since you have to cut so many of them. You get some little birthday, you know, cupcakes, some birthday candles, a little streamer. You get a couple size flowers and some flower centers. So you just get kind of some generic things that come with it. If you're looking for a good add-on stamp set for this one, in addition to the ones that we're going to be using on the project, which would be our, since we're doing a Christmas card, we're going to use the Winter Hugs clear stamps, including that Making Angels in the Snow. And that, you can see the shape of that. That's actually sized to where you can put it on the snow angel from the snow charm. So, you know, as an option. So we'll be using that. And then back to our Season of Cheer clear stamps, we're going to use the Merry Christmas. And then, but this is a set. We're not using it on this one, but this is what I used on those photo ones. There is a little Photo Memories clear stamp set that has like kind of little small square phrases that really work perfectly with that photo fan, because you can use that square, the smaller square, to cut out those greetings. So like if you're doing a birthday card, you've got happy birthday to you, celebrate your big, awesome, super day. But then there's just lots of other ones, you know? So if you were using, I mean, even if you want to just get this because you make scrapbook pages, you know, it doesn't have to be used with this pop-up. But I was just trying to think of things like if you're doing a graduation, you know, congrats to you, or look how much you have grown, or then and now. I love having adventures with you. Thanks for being amazing. Remember this day. I still do. So those anniversary cards, always and forever. Life is better with friends. So just some really fun little phrases that work great with the photo fan. So you can pick that up if you like that for that. So here's, this one's A2 as well. So here's one that I did that has those snow charms on it. And this was kind of a little bit the inspiration card for the class card, because I liked when I made this card, I really liked the green background with the red frames, and then the snow charms mostly in white. And so I did that again. So I thought that would be a cool look to our class card. So you can see all the snow charms have that green backer with that red frame. And then because it was going to double it and it was going to just be a lot of squares to fill, then we took advantage of some of the pattern paper. So that Simple Stories pattern paper had some really cool little icons that were perfect to just cut out with the squares. So several of the squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the squares are just literally the pattern paper cut out with the square and then framed. And then maybe with just, you know, like we're going to add like a, you know, just a little dimension to some of them, some ornaments to the tree, a little nose for the reindeer. But for the most part, we're just going to let the pattern paper do the work. So that's a great way too to make a really impressive card. Is just let those great pattern papers do the work for you, including our greeting on the front here, which is just one of the journaling cards out of the paper. But again, just adding some little dimensional berries to the front, you know, just to have it be not quite so flat. Okay. All right, so let's get going. So you need to be into your card 2 baggie now. And let's see, I've got a little gravity situation over here, out of frame. All right, 5x6 side fold card on this one. So a 5x6 is another size that I really like to make versus a 5x7. I can still use the A7 envelope, but what I get with a 5x6 card is 2 cards out of a 12x12 sheet of paper. All right, so it's a little bit of a paper saver to make a 5x6 card. You can still use the A7 envelope, but you just kind of lopped an inch off the bottom of a 5x7. It ends up being a really nice card size. All right, so here's that piece of cardstock that we started with. So that one is going to be 10 inches wide, 6 inches tall, scored in the middle for folding. And just like we did with the last one, we're going to start with the inside pieces. Let's see if I can, I'll just get that up a little out of frame. We'll be fine. All right, so you are looking for the big pieces of the paper that has the snowballs all over it. You cut some pieces of kind of a similar color teal cardstock, sea salt, I think this one's called. And I had you cut those to 5 7/8 so that you could get an ever so slight white border around the perimeter, okay? And then what you're going to fill in between the two are going to be your skinny reds, okay? And those I think we also cut to 5 7/8. No, did we? Mine's a little off, but I think those are cut to the same height as, yeah, this one's fine. I have a fuzzy on this one. Okay, what are you going to use to attach those papers inside the card? You're going to use your favorite adhesive. So that could be glue or that could be your tape runner. It's up to you on this part of the card. Avoid the fold. So maybe what you want to do, I think what I'm going to do, I think the order I'm going to do it in is I'm going to start from the outside and work in. Okay, so I'm I'm going to take those teal pieces, and I want just an ever so slight border around them. Okay. Then I'm going to butt this one right up to it. Yeah. Now, if you found that you didn't cut very straight, you can always use the stripe to get it straight, if that makes sense. So if that means it has to overlap a little bit somewhere to get it straightened up, you can certainly do that. Mine is just a little bit tall, so I'm going to snip just a smidge off. Just enough to make that even. Okay, then I'm going to go put this on, and I should be able to butt it up next to it and stay out of the fold, but it's going to be real close to the fold. Okay, so I'm going to leave that to you as to whether or not you, maybe it would have been better for me to underlap it, you know what I mean? I'm just going to go for it. Deciding whether, you know what, I'm going to cheat is I'm just going to take a smidge off this side right here. And I'm just going to use my scissors because that's the center fold, and it's so unimportant that it be, you know, you got a whole pop-up to look at. If that makes you twitch, you could get your trimmer out if you need to take a little bit off, but I'm just going to take just enough to keep it out of the fold. That's all I needed. Just a, I mean, when I say a sliver, I just cut a sliver off. Okay, and I'm going to center that top to bottom. So leave an equal amount of white up here and here. Okay, I think I'm going to go in the opposite order this time. I'm going to put this one on first so that I don't have to shave it, because the red could go over the top if it needed to. So, learn my lesson. Yeah, so many of the paper companies do have beautiful journaling card papers, you know. And those can be great with your pop-up dies because they can do a little bit of the work for you. You know, with pop-up cards, you're decorating the outside and the inside, you know. So you're not trying to double your work, you know. So using those journaling cards can be a great time saver. You know, I mean, I'm a bit of a space filler, so I like that they fill in, you know, the background of the card and everything, give it a little bit of visual interest, but the pop-ups work great with solid colors too, so don't feel, there's not really any hard and fast rules. Oh, have I lost my other red? What did I do with that? Everyone who's like watching the video is just like screaming at me probably. It's right there. I know I had it, so I must have dropped it on the floor. I sure did. Gravity. Okay, there it is. All right, so now this one fits just perfectly in there, so who knows? Sometimes the hardest part of class is cutting the skinny, tiny strips. You know, when we do those little tiny strips. When I first did this card, I didn't have the red strip on. I actually had to put it all together, and I added the red strip. It just had a white border there, like you see on this side. But then once I had all of the little red frames on, like I felt like it, you know what I mean? Like I felt like it needed it. It needed that red to kind of match. So I went back and added them. So that's why they're that skinny, because I wanted them to fit in that little, you know, river. All right, so let's talk about adding these photo fans. So let's go ahead and, do I want to put them in or do I want to decorate them first? I mean, just the decorator pieces. You know what, I think we're going to, what are we going to do? Well, let's start by folding them. All right, so the photo fan cuts in one piece, which is nice. You can see all of the score lines on it. You should be able to see those score lines really easily. If you can't, you probably have it upside down. It's mirror image, so it's not that it wouldn't work this way, but you can really see the score lines a lot easier on the side that you die cut into. I usually start with the center fold. It is a mountain fold, but as with all folds, I like to fold towards myself first and then reverse it. Okay. And then what you have is off of that center fold, you have two diagonals and they alternate. So if it's mountain here, it's valley here, and mountain here. sometimes I like to go ahead and work, if you can see that there's a score line for this tab that's kind of on a 45, right? It's on a diagonal. And then the diagonal comes off at a little bit of a different angle this way. So if you want to, you can do the ones next to the tabs first. So see those little wings right there? They have their own little diagonal fold, okay? They are going to end up folding to the back, but if you want to break the fold towards you first, you know, and then reverse it, that works too. Okay, when you look on the back, they should, if you fold it on the line, they should be, you know, this one's right. I can tell this one's wrong. Look at how wonky that is. Okay, so I did not fold it right on the line. So let me go up there and fix that so that it's more mirror image like the other one. So see, it would work. It would have worked. It's not that it wouldn't have worked. It's that I like it to be symmetrical. Okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and leave those tabs on the back for right now while I work these other folds. All right, so this next one is a valley. Okay, so I work that one as a valley. Give it a pinch. Okay, the next one is a mountain, but I like to break the fold towards me first. So breaking the fold towards me, then reverse it as a mountain. So see how we're just making an accordion. So we've got mountain, valley, mountain. And then this tab here is going to fold to the back. Okay, we're going to do the same thing over here. All right, so this one's a valley. Give it a good pinch. The next one is a mountain, but I'm going to fold it valley style first to break the fold, and then I'm going to reverse it. Okay, and then out here next to the tab, it's a mountain fold. So that is the fan. That's the photo fan there. So you can see that you've got the, you know, I mean, it looks like a little fan that you could, you know, fan yourself with. And they're really, really, really easy to install. So let's put that one down and let's do the folding on the other ones. We're going to do a double on this card. Okay. So I like to start with the mountain fold up the middle. Okay. Then I go to the tabs for the little tab folds, center tab folds. Okay. When I look on the back, this should be pretty equal, you know. Then I'm going to do these valley folds here. The next one is a mountain, but I'm going to fold it valley first and then reverse it. And then a mountain fold out on the tab. Okay, going to the other side, valley fold here. Okay, the next one is going to be a mountain, but I'm going to fold it valley first, then mountain, and then mountain. Okay, let me hold that close so you can see. There's your folds, and your tabs have been folded under. You got 2 tabs in the middle and 2 tabs on the outside. Okay, you know what? I think we are just going to go ahead and get these in the card. And then, because what's nice is that you install them flat. And since you install them flat, you are actually able to decorate it in a flat position. See that? See how I can open that card and completely flatten it? That's because it was installed completely flat. So I love it when you install pop-up cards or pop-ups completely flat, because that means you don't have to think through all the decorations before you install it inside the card. You can put it in the card and decorate as you go. Okay, and then that way you're able to check it. You know, check for catch points and everything as you go. So we're going to go ahead and put these in the card. All right, so get your card back out. Now in your handout, those of you who are kit holders, you were given the measurement for where to put these in the card. I figured it out so that you don't have to. All right, so right here, your diagram, you're going to measure 2 inches from the top of the card and 1 inch and 3/4 from the bottom of the card. Okay, so 2 inches from the top. We're going to put a little pencil line on the center fold, and then 1 inch and 3/4 from the bottom. Put a little line on that. Okay. Post it. I'll give you those 2 measurements. Oh, oops. Okay, this one's 1.75 inches. Okay, sorry, I messed up my post-it note there. Where's the sticky part? Here, this one is 2 inches. Okay, you're measuring from the top of the card, and you're measuring from the bottom of the card. Okay, so not from the edge of the pattern paper, but from the edge of the card. 1.75 and 2. Okay, and that's going to give us our 2 locations for our photo fans. All right, let's start with the one at the top. Yes, at the top. Let's do the one at the top. All right, so what we want to do is we have all these folds in it, but we actually want to, at least on the two outside ones, let's go ahead and bring those back out again, because we'll want to put our adhesive on the top and then kick them under like we did on the Lorna. Okay, but the middle ones, they can stay behind there. And what you're going to do is you're going to temporarily make that center a mountain fold, a valley fold, so that you can get it lined up perfectly with the fold of the card. Okay, so right up the center, and then we want the tip to be right on our 2-inch pencil line. And the only thing that is gluing down, are those two tabs. Okay, so back here behind, I'm going to put my adhesive on my two tabs. Okay, so that's the only thing that gets adhesive. Here's the front. Flip it around. You've got those two tabs folded up underneath there. Make sure these two ones are out. Okay, it's only these that are getting adhesive. We've temporarily put a little valley fold in the center right here. We're going to get the point of that photo fan right over the pencil line, and we just got to make sure that that fold is going straight up on the fold. Okay, and then I'm pressing it down. All right, so let me get real close so you can see. This center fold here is lined up perfectly with the fold. That is on my 2-inch line. What I've just glued down is the two tabs underneath there, and they're going to be on either side of the fold. Okay, on either side of the fold. Well, that's not too hard, is it? Wait, it gets even easier. It gets even easier because to do these tabs, we just keep everything flat, just like we did with the Lorna label. We put the adhesive on the top of the tab. Okay. Then we kick it under. We glue it to the card in that completely flat position. Completely flat position. Okay, isn't that lovely? All right. Now, I know you're going to say, oh, I'm going to just close my card. Don't do it yet because we haven't trained it, so it's going to fight you right now. Remember, we've reversed this fold. We've done all sorts of stuff to it. Don't close your card. Trust me that it's going to work. Okay? It's going to work. But let's leave it flat so that we can put the other one in. Well, you know what? No, that's fine. Let's get this one working. Why not? How fun. All right, first thing we got to do is we got to make sure that we get a mountain fold back here. So get behind there. It's going to be easier if you put a little bend in your card. Put your hand behind there and make sure that's a mountain. Okay, then remember this mountain fold here and here, right? So maybe we need to get behind there and get that coming forward. Okay, so if we kind of pull it forward into that shape, then it will close. Okay, so give it a little help that first time. Okay, and there's that photo fan. How easy is that? It's easy, right? Easy, easy, easy. And best part about it, still flat. It still goes flat. It still goes flat. Now, when you're going to flatten it for decorating, there are going to be times when that's going to try and invert or it's going to forget to come forward. And so if you're ever closing your card from a completely flat position because you've decorated it, you may have to help it remember those folds. Okay, most of the time it's going to remember. Like, look at this. I completely flattened it. Okay, let's flatten it as flat as I can get it and then see if the card will pick it up. See how it's fighting me a little bit. I can, it's not sure what to do right here. So I need to bring it forward. Especially these outer wings. Bring it forward and then it'll remember the folds. Okay, so during construction, you may have to help it a little bit. Once it's all done, then no one's ever going to open it completely. No one's going to get this card and go, oh, look at this. It'll always have a little bend to it, and then it'll keep its folds. You know what I mean? It'll remember what to do. Okay, so let's do the second one. So we're going to do the exact same thing. So let's pull the outer tabs out. Okay. Let's temporarily kind of make that a valley so it's more flat. We've got our two tabs kicked behind. Okay. The two tabs are going to get the adhesive back behind those tabs. Okay. Turn that over. I'm going to get the tip right on my 1 3/4 pencil line. And I'm going to make sure that that fold is going right up the fold of the card. Okay. So all I've done is I've glued those two tabs behind there. They're basically straddling the fold. Okay. I keep everything nice and flat. I add my adhesive to my two tabs. Okay. Kick those under. Attach them to the card. Keep your card flat while you do it. Okay, flat, flat, flat. Completely flat. Okay, we got to give it a little training. Remember, we've lost our mountain fold. We don't want that sitting down there like a valley. We've got to have that be a mountain. So lift it up and mountain fold that. Make sure these, what you can do with these outer ones is kind of, you're trying to bring it forward right here and here. Okay, right here and here. Just bring everything forward a little bit, and then they'll both close. Okay. Now, the photo fan is one of the ones that ends up with a bunch of stuff stacked on top of each other. There are some dies that are like that. You know, the boat is kind of like that too. So you don't have to use your heaviest cardstock for the photo fan because it'll just make more bulk in your card. Most of the time, you're going to add the decorator pieces to this. So even if this was a lightweight cardstock or maybe even a double-sided pattern paper, especially if you're going to put the decorator pieces on it, that's going to strengthen it anyway. So for this one, we used 80-pound cardstock, and that's fine. Medium weight is fine, but you really could even go with the 65-pound if you wanted to on your photo fans, especially if you're putting the decorator pieces on. Okay, so let's talk about decorator pieces. So the die set comes with the pieces you need to decorate the photo fan and leave a little shadow around them, okay? So underneath here that you can't see, there's a die that will cut you 3 little rectangles. Okay, and those 3 rectangles, those rectangles are all the same size, but they're basically the size to leave you a little shadow on your spoke. And you start with your rectangles, okay? So you're going to go through your kit and you're going to, so you cut 3 at a time. So you had to cut it 1, 2, 3, 4 times to get enough. And you can even cut through 2 layers at one time. But those are all going to glue on first. I like to do the spokes first because those are purposely longer than the spoke so that when we put the triangles on, they go over the top of the end of the spoke and they really strengthen that spoke for holding up the weight of everything that you're putting on it. Okay, so that is purposely designed that way so that the rectangle comes down and it gets into the triangle. And then when we find the triangle that fits that, which it'll turn up eventually, we've got a million triangles in there, you know, it'll overlap that a little bit. But I would start with your spokes. So you're just going to find all of those pattern paper spoke pieces and just glue those on. You know, funnily enough, this class, I'm recording this obviously ahead of time. So I haven't actually taught the Zoom class that preceded this yet. So that'll be in a couple days. And I don't know how it went. Like, even though this is the second class, like, I hope it went well. I hope some of you that are here are not mad at me right now. But yes, I don't know how it went. And I don't know what stories I told, so I don't know. When I'm doing this busy work, I sometimes will tell stories, but I'm like, well, what did I say in the Zoom class? I'm not even sure. It's in the future for me. Well, you know what? Let me tell you about this photo fan. So that's something that I wouldn't have said in the Zoom class because it's not one of the required dies for the Zoom class. So one of our best-selling dies is our photo collage pop-up. And people just love that die. And it spins a... Do I have something really super handy? It would have been great if I did. Okay, I don't want to stop what I'm doing. At some point I'll find a photo collage and I'll show you what that... Oh, I think I found one. Okay, photo collage. Okay. See? Kind of gives you the same sort of effect, right? Except for it's got a spinner. It's got a quadruple spinner underneath it. Okay, so the spokes come out and then it just kind of goes bazang, you know, and they woo, and it comes with like this little Polaroid frame look to it or whatever. So this has been a really popular die, and I wanted to have another one. You know, there's a little bit more, you know, the photo collage is like a really spectacular die, but it is a little bit more tricky on the avoiding of the catch points, you know, because of the way it moves and everything. Some of them have to flip over and some, you know, so it can be a little bit more tricky to make sure that you don't get catch points on the photo collage. And so what I was really looking for was like to design another kind of photo-y pop-up, but just have it be still spectacular, but just a lot simpler, you know, so that it wouldn't be intimidating to anybody. And I feel like the photo fan is that. But knowing that a lot of people just kind of collect all the dies, I wanted to make sure that the photos that fit on the photo fan are the same size as the ones that fit on the photo collage, so that those of you who have both dies, it's the same size photo, whichever either of those two dies that you're using. However you're used to making photos for your photo collage, use the same size for this. You can also mix and match then between the sets, right? So if you wanted to use the photo collage Polaroid frames on your photo fan, or if you wanted to use these little, square frames on the photo collage, you can mix and match between the sets. But yeah, people have been having the design team's been having so much fun with this photo fan. They've made all sorts of cool things. And there is an assembly video on it, so I'll link it in the description box below, but you can watch the assembly video and you'll see all the design team's cards at the end. And yeah. And they've done all sorts of fun things with it. It doesn't have to be for photos, obviously. So several of them have used it to make fireworks cards, So really cool. We have a new fireworks die. It looks really nice on it. I've seen all sorts of things. Turkeys, flower garden, think of these as spokes of your flowers. That'd be cute. A sun, obviously, real easy. Just a great sun for a little sunset scene or something. And you can put them. You can put more than one on the card as we're doing here, but you could also have flipped this one around so that it pops out up and down, right? Or if you're doing top fold, see, that's what I'm saying. Make sure you pull them forward. If you're doing top fold, then maybe one goes out this way and one goes out this way, Or you're going to put a triple? You can put triple. Put as many as you want. Okay, still looking for my stuff here. So yeah, we had the wood chipper was yesterday. So that was a little tricky. I couldn't film the class because there was a wood chipper. Then today there was that's the weirdest thing. There was a car carrier. Like, I don't know. I kind of think they were picking up a car. I think that somebody, how sometimes you sell a car and then somebody shows up with a giant car carrier to take it away. Well, the car carrier showed up, but it was already full of cars. And for whatever reason, the car it was picking up, it wanted to put that one up on top at the very front. And so it unloaded like 5 cars and just parked them all over the street while it was, and then it got the little red car it was picking up and it so anyway, it was really loud. It was very loud this morning too. So I was like, oh, when am I going to get quiet time for my class cards? All right, as you're looking for triangles, so the biggest triangle in the set are the ones that fit the inner portions. Let's see if I can find all 4 of those. And everything's cut out of the same, so we don't need those, same pattern paper. So looking for your big triangles. Okay, so here's your big triangles. All right, so you're going to see that they match the shape of those inner ones where it has the 2 folds, right? So it goes this way, yeah, and then that way. Okay, let me glue those on and then I'll show you. And then they're going to glue over the top of the end of the spoke. But again, you've got the ability to just have a little small shadow all the way around. So you're just going to center those in the panels they fit. So. See that? Okay, so you're looking for 2 mirror image ones. They're on a different die. These ones are not on the same die. The other triangles are, it doesn't match that. But just look to the shape, right? So I've got to flip those around so that I have the, point like that. Now, do you have to always put these decorator pieces on? No, you don't. You saw that the pop-up was working just fine. They add a little bit of, decoration, and they add a little bit of strength, especially for holding up things up on the spokes, but they're not precisely necessary for every card. So if you were trying to do a bunch of invitations or something where you were making multiples and you just didn't want to have to do the spoke decoration, you don't have to. All right, there's some little tiny triangles. You should have 4 of those. And then you've got some medium-sized triangles too. So you're going to find all the triangles. One. going here. I love it as you get closer and closer to the end of a card, and then your pieces go down, you know, you have fewer pieces to flip through. There's, okay, I found 4 big ones, so I'm just missing one of the small, yeah, one of the small ones. Where are you, cute little triangle? Now those you could use double-sided adhesive on the back and make your triangles into stickers, you know, when you're doing your future cards if you want. But they're so easy, they're, you know, they're easy enough to glue on. Well, I've got one triangle that is escaping me. Well, I'll just keep going. If I have to, I guess I'll... Oh, there it is. I found it. Okay. Tricky. All right, so let's start with these medium triangles. They're the same, so it doesn't, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter which one goes where on, as far as the right and the left. They're the same triangle, so. Or I guess I should say close enough. Absolutely close enough. They might, I can't remember if they were a smidge, you know, different angle, but regardless, you don't see, nobody's really looking at your arrows, you know, to see if they're precisely the way they are. Okay, this is coming together. Okay, and then on these, I think they're basically like a right triangle. If you could think back to geometry class, right? So you've got a right triangle, okay? And it's your hypotenuse, your long one here, that is on the bottom edge, okay? Makes sense? So that's when you're trying to figure out how to line them up. You take your triangle and your longest side, which is your hypotenuse, is along the flat edge, all right? And then they'll fit on there just perfectly. And what's the difference? If you did them with your right triangle this way, they would still look okay, but they're not precisely, you know, sized to fit. So you want your hypotenuse along the bottom. I never really thought I was going to use geometry as much as I use geometry as an adult, you know. I mean, I really do. With designing these pop-ups, y'all, I use a lot of math. My math skills have been very helpful. I guess we could have decorated the top one before putting the bottom one in, but it's not too hard to reach in there to get your triangles on. See, this is that spot where I was talking about you're in control, because maybe you're a much faster decorator than I am, and maybe you've just already scrolled right on by the next thing. We premiere these virtual classes at a certain time so that I can be in the chat box answering any questions, but truthfully, people usually aren't asking any questions because they're going at their own pace. So, you know, everyone's kind of at a different spot in the project, you know, so don't feel like you're missing out on anything if you're not there at the exact premiere of this this class. All right, now you can still flatten it completely flat for decorating, but once you have trained it, once you've got all these pieces on, have you trained it to close, it's naturally going to want to stop at a little, you know, at a spot where it's not completely flat. And maybe you want to just leave it that way. You know, we can pinch our stuff on and test them, and you're not always constantly having to go in and kind of retrain it to come forward. All right, so what we're going to do with these photo fans is we're going to do this. I'm going to give you a little visual. The back one is just going to get 6 squares on the outer spokes, okay? The inner one is going to get, these 4 are going to be kind of out on the spoke, but the inner spoke, we're going to come in a little bit on those, and then we're going to add one more to one side of the fold or the other. I chose the right side, so the secret to the center ones is they only get to attach to one side or the other, not both, or else you'll have to bend it, okay? So let's do this. Let's start just making our squares. We can actually put that to the side and just start working on our squares. So You do not have to make frames like this when you're using the photo fan. You can just layer the small square onto the big square. Okay, so let's look at a couple that card again. Do I have it? All right, that's what's been done here. Okay, that's just the small square cutting out the photo. It's the photo itself just had a little white space around it. Okay, but like here's a good example. So there's a Celebrate Your Big Awesome Super Day. That has been die cut with the small square and then layered onto the larger square. Okay, so that's typically probably what you would do for most cards. But when you want to do something with charms, where you want to be able to dangle a charm from a charm ring off of the frame, then it's kind of fun to nest the two together and cut frames. And then what you do is you use your larger die to cut all of the other ones, and then the frame will just fit around it perfectly, right? So typically you would maybe cut that out of red, like the big square out of red, and then the small one, you would cut the small one and then layer over the top. But in this case, we're going to do the opposite, which is we're going to layer the frame over the top of the big square. So for the ones that are pattern paper, you can just glue the frames to the squares, okay? And then for the other ones, for the ones that have green on the background, those are the ones that are going to get charms. For these ones, we don't really want to, I guess we could glue them on if we only used adhesive on 3 sides, because we got to be able to get that ring through. Or I guess we could just put the ring through. Yeah, I guess actually we could do that. All right, so this is what I want you to do. Find all your frames. Find all of your red frames. There's a ton of them. Can't remember how many, 14, something like that. Find all your frames and find all of your squares, okay? Whether they're green, whether they're pattern paper, find them all. Squares for days. Okay. Square, square, square. All right, I'm going to see the one that we're going to put on the front. Okay, on the front. So there's one. So let's find the pattern paper squares where we've captured some icons, right? So you should have, I think, 7 or 8 of those. Nope, 7. Okay, is that true? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Am I missing one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so for these 7, they just get red frames. You can glue that red frame all the way down. Okay, red frames. All right, then you've got one more pattern paper square, and it's the blue polka dot, right? I don't even know what's on the back. It's dependent on where you cut it. So the blue polka dot is going to get a frame, but when you do it, let's put one of your silver charm rings like we did on the first card. We're going to hook the big part over the top of the frame, okay? Then we can glue it down, and we've trapped that charm ring in, but we haven't closed it yet. And that way we can, you know, add whatever we're going to add to it, you know what I'm saying? And then close the ring afterwards. So then we can build all of our charms, and then we can put them on our different things. Although this one, I suppose we could just finish. Yeah, because it is that silver one. Yeah, so this one we can do the same thing we did on the first card on this one. So you're going to take your silver charm ring. Let me take it off of there. Okay. You're going to hold it by the smile. You're going to take the hook, the big hook one, underneath the frame and over the top, and you're just going to hold it against your finger so it doesn't move, okay? Then you're going to take your glue around the frame. Okay, I would leave yourself a little slide room on that charm frame. This one's going to be that blue pattern paper. Okay, this should line up perfectly because they're cut with the same die. Okay. All right, so then essentially you have this, right? And then we can take the silver snowflake charm, hook it on the smile, just like we did with the last one. Now this is silver mirror card, so it's going to take a little bit longer on your glue to set up, you know, because it's slick. You put your glue on that ring, bring it up into that glue, and pinch it. You know what would be really good if you have it? If you're a person that uses ever little small clips, like a paper clip or a binder clip or a quilting clip, you can like clip it and set it aside. So paper clip would work too. All right. So let's glue these frames on, and with the green ones, we're going to have to put charm rings in them so that we can add charms. Let's keep the green ones aside. Let's keep the green ones aside, and we'll just do the charms added to just like we did with this one. We'll just build them as we go. We'll build them as we go. But these ones we can actually just add our frames to. So yeah. And again, if you are faster than me, and you get these done, just slide on ahead. Actually, I don't know if you can slide on ahead at the premiere. If you're at the premiere, you might just have to go get a, soda or something. Get a snack. Been a long day, especially if you did the Zoom class. It's been a really long day. I loved these little icons, little cute mousy and everything. So, but if you are not a fan of pattern paper, or perhaps you just don't have access to it, like maybe you kind of live in an area where there aren't those wonderful scrapbook stores and crafting stores to go peruse all the paper. It's not like you couldn't go to your stamp collection and stamp out some little cute, images and stuff and frame them that way too, so that you don't have to, create a layered embellishment for every spot. Or how fun would this card be where you did make the snow charms, but maybe in all the spots that is pattern paper, you put Christmas related photos. So maybe photos of your family, or maybe, photos of like your favorite ornaments from your tree. That would be pretty. So, yeah. And with classes, I try to amp it up a little bit, right? So we're doing a double photo fan for this card. But, you could certainly just do a single. If you're wanting to make a bunch of holiday cards, you could go down to a single on it. But yeah, little photos would be cute. There's I will link it in the description box, but there's a video that I did where you can print little collage prints at Walgreens. I'm sorry for my overseas people, because I don't know if you guys have, you might have Walgreens in Canada, but I don't know that you have Walgreens overseas. But in the United States and possibly Canada, there's like a little collage print that you can have made at Walgreens, which is a drugstore here in the state that's pretty much all throughout the whole United States. And it's only like 49 cents, and then it gets you 9 photos. So really perfect for either the photo collage or the photo fan. And I did a video that shows you how to do it. I used my computer on mine, but I think you can use your phone or your tablet. The main thing is don't use the Walgreens app. Use the website. So even on your phone or your tablet, you can use the website, and then that'll be one of the options. All right, so we've done these, and now we're going to start working on our. Let's start working on our snow charms, okay? So let's get the ones out that are just super duper easy, because we already did all the work during prep work, okay? That's the snow angel and the white snowflake. Yeah, here, and the snow angel. Okay, so during prep work, we had to cut the snow angel out, and we actually put packing tape over the cardstock before die cutting, so that both the angel and the snowflake are shiny. So that's kind of a cool little trick. So what we want to do with these is we want to hang those from, or dangle those from the charm, or from the frame. Okay, so I always like to hinge them first, where I've worked the fold. Okay, then we're going to sit that charm down on there, add a little glue, because you're going to get really good with these charm rings. Okay, going to get that into that glue, and if you do have a paper clip or a binder clip or a quilting clip, you could clip that so that you don't have to hold it. Okay, now, angels in the snow. Sorry, the snow angel is not a charm, even though it's from the Snow Charms, because typically when you want to make the Snow Angel a charm, you sink it in the snowball, and the snowball is the one that has the charm hole on it. Okay, so, but guess what? You have the charm rings. So you have the ability to make that angel into a charm by using one of those charm rings, or charm holes. Okay, so like we talked about in the last card, you know, it's going to be too big to hide behind her head. So what you want to do on one of those white charm holes is take your scissors and just cut the sides of the circle off. So it's just a skinny little mini like this. Okay, then you can add the glue up there and bring the head up to the underside of the circle, and that will turn that snow angel into a charm. But then we know what to do. Dangle that off of a red frame. Okay, so big side goes over, angel goes on the smile, a little bit of glue on the big side, hinge this smile up into that adhesive until it becomes a circle. If you have something like a quilting clip or a binder clip, you can clip it to let it set up. Okay, all right, let's talk about ice skates. Ooh, let's make a set of ice skates. All right, here are the pieces that you are looking for. So we're working on the Snow Charms now. So Snow Charms set cuts a variety of different charms. One of them is a set of ice skates. And what you did during prep work is you used the stencil feature on the ice skates to add some little black dots to the skate. Okay, and that's going to correspond with the laces. And you did that on both of them. All right. Then I had you cut just the bottom half of the skate. You didn't even need as much as I cut because we're just trying to turn the blades into silver. Okay. Well, here's what I do. I just take a little bit of the heel with it. And then on the other two, I just kind of go at the base of the heel. I mean, at the base of the skate and take out just the blade. Okay. Because there's a heel piece that's going to go over the top of this to pretty everything up. So it doesn't have to be, you know, you can, maybe I should just do, then I guess I don't have to layer the brown over the top. I think I am just going to take the runner of the skate or the thing. So, but if you did get a little bit of the heel, it would be fine because the, is this the right one? Yes. The, there's a heel piece that's going to cover it up. Okay, so all we're doing with the silver one is we're just changing the color of the skates themselves, the blades, to silver. Okay. One of the things I mentioned in the assembly video for the Snow Charms is that you always have the option, if you have a silver paint pen, you know, that might be the quickest way to change those to silver, is just cut them with or hit them with a silver paint pen. All right, so I'm going to cut just at the base of the skate so that I get just the silver portion. Glue that over the top. Okay, so now we got white skate, silver blades. Don't need the rest of the silver there. And then there is a set of heel pieces in the die set, and I had you use double-sided adhesive on the back of those. So those are stickers. Okay, so they're just line right up over the top. Now, if you want your skates to look like you just brought them home from the store, then maybe you don't ink them. But if you want them to have a little bit of kind of wear, you can hit them with a little brown ink. So I'm just using Vintage Photo Distress ink, and I'm just kind of hitting the edges a little bit. Okay, completely optional, completely optional. Light touch. Okay. All right, then the last thing are the laces. So the laces, I had you cut that out of with double-sided adhesive on the back of the red cardstock. So let me peel those up because those will be stickers. Okay, and then you'll see that one of them, you know, is curved to be the right skate and one's curved to be the left skate, and you can put the tips of the zigzag right on those little pen lines that you made during prep work. Okay, so it's an easy way to line those up. Now, if you're making a bunch, could you just eliminate the stenciling of the little black dots? Sure, they're just kind of meant to be the, the eyelets. But you wouldn't have to stencil it. These are pretty easy just to add, even without the... Okay, there we go. There's our little set of skates. So what we're going to do is we're going to separate those skates so that each one gets its own frame. Okay, so just like we've been doing, we're going to take a red frame. We're going to take our charm ring. Did we cut enough charm rings? Did I lose some? Oh, I see some of them are still in the thing. Still feels like maybe I don't have, I don't know. Maybe I do. Maybe I do. Okay, I'm going to dangle a skate. Add my glue. Hinge up. Clip. Okay, and the next one, find a charm ring. Okay. I like to work the hinge a little bit first so it's loose. Big part goes over the top of the frame. Skate goes on the smile. Adhesive on the big part. Hinge this one up. Clip it. Okay, how are we doing? We still have four. Well, I have a whole bunch left. Still feel like I didn't cut enough charm rings. I guess I don't know how to count. Or do I just have too many squares? What are we doing with squares here? Oh, because I haven't put the squares behind all the... Okay, yeah. All right. Never mind. We're good. Okay, what do we have left? We have the sled and we have the mittens. Okay, so the mittens cuts in a single piece like this with a cute little mitten string that makes a little heart at the top. Okay, and then there is a set of, we did the cuffs, we stenciled the white on, and then the hearts that we're going to use on the mittens are the flat hearts, so not the ones that are the mirror card. We're going to use those somewhere else. Okay, so those are stickers, so we can just peel up the cuffs, add them to our mittens. I can't know if I did. I did. I brushed just a little bit of ink around these two. Brown ink, just to give them a little vintage kind of flair. Okay, cuffs. Okay, and then a red heart on each mitten. And I think the one of the fastest ways I can show my age is the way that I say mittens, because I don't say mitten. You know what I mean? Like there's definitely a difference in how younger people say say the word mittens. Showing my age. All right. So what I found with the mittens is you end up kind of putting them up above the frame. I guess it doesn't matter as far as, yeah, because we can just move them up. So I just put them on like you normally would, but I did find that they were so tall that I ended up kind of having them almost above the frame. I'll show you what I mean. Let's see, let me just get this on in the usual manner. Hang the mittens from the circle. Complete the circle. Maybe I need my clip for that. Okay, I'm gonna let that set up and then I'll show you what I mean. Oh, this is what I mean. See, I ended up having the thing kind of going up a little bit to keep them mostly in the frame. But we can deal with that when we add the green squares. All right, last one is the sled. Okay, so now you get to make a choice. So on the sled, it's a two-part sled, and so what happens is the brown piece attaches to the red piece. Don't do it yet, and you can line up the little connector pieces of the brown over the top and bottom horizontal runners of the red piece. And then this center thing goes over the top of the brown. Okay, we want to do some inking first, and we've got stuff to do before we glue these together. But, okay, so that's how it's going to eventually go. And you're going to glue this on. Now, you've got two things to do to this piece before we can get there. First one is if you want to brush some ink over the top. I did use that vintage photo. Once again, I would use a real light touch. Try and just kind of go, you know, light touch, because the ink will sit on top, and then the wood grain texture that's in the piece will be more visible if you go light touch with it versus mashing the ink down into the grooves. Okay. All right. And you can always add more. You know, that's the thing about going light, is you can always add more, but it's hard to take it off. So, okay, so that's step one, is give it as much brown distressing as you want with ink. Okay, then you have to decide what you're going to do with your twine. So the die cuts a couple little press dots in that little thing to show you about where the twine should go. And here's your two choices. The hard one is you can pierce through, it's not hard, but you can pierce through that press dot to make it a little bit bigger. And then you can weave your twine through that tiny little piece and glue it on the back. And then your handle for your sled will be going through that crossbar. And that is definitely going to be made easier if you do 2-ply twine instead of 4. So depending on the twine that was in your kit, if it is able to be separated into 2-ply twine, I would do that. If it can't be separated and it's 4-ply and it's thick twine, or even if it's 2-ply and it's thick twine, I would not even try to do through that. You won't be able to get it through. You know, the twine itself will be too thick to go through. So I think now I've sort of learned from the design team, it's probably just as easy to just tie the twine on. Like, why I didn't do it that way from the start, I don't know. And even in the assembly video, I say the same thing, which is like, you know, sometimes it takes the dies getting out to the design team and me saying, oh, right, yeah, no, that's probably a easier thing to do. So I'm just going to tie it on because I think it looks just fine being tied on. And then you don't have to pierce and go through that little tiny piece. You know, but I'll tie mine on and then you can decide whether you want to pierce and okay. So kind of decide how much of a handle you want. You know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to do my over under like I'm tying my shoes. Do that first. Come on, buddy. All right, and then I can just take that loop over the end and cinch it. Leave myself enough for a nice handle. My handle's a little small. Make that a little bit longer. Maybe something like this. It's pretty cute. A little bit longer. Okay. All right, I like that. I'm going to do a double knot. I don't know if it really needs it, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to do it. Okay, I did it. I did it. All right, there we go. See, I think it looks just fine being tied on, and then now I can just trim off the excess. It's a lot easier to tie it on than it is to pierce and try and weave the twine through. It really is quite cute that way. Okay, so then your adhesive can go across the two spots where they have the horizontal connectors here and here. Okay, I mean, you could do a little run all on the sides, the very outsides, because you'll see that those will overlap as well. But usually if you just, and then we're going to tuck that under, come up to where the sled runners are right over the horizontal runners. Okay. I basically glued it here and here. Okay, and then I made sure this was coming over the top. So then I can put a little spot of glue underneath that red. Okay, let me open up my charm hole there. See, that's cute. I think I like the knots. I actually really do like the knots. I'm gonna add some more texture to it too. And that's cute. All right, so we're not going to, that huge sled is not going to fit in this frame. So for this one, we probably, let's see, you know what, let's just dangle it off with the charm hole, or with the charm ring first. And then we'll figure out how to trim it. Because ask me to remember what I did. I don't know exactly what I did, but I can figure it out. Okay, up, pinch, clip if you've got one. All right, so let's start with these mittens. Well, that's, so see, if you lift the mittens up to where they, oops, I don't know that my charm ring is all that great on this one. Kind of came apart. It's mostly decorative, so I guess it doesn't matter that much, but kind of came apart a little bit. So if you find a location for the mittens where it's just kind of slightly overlapping the frame somewhere, like maybe, oh, now my charm rings come out completely. Okay, let's not start with the mittens. No, we will. Okay, sorry, my apologies. That's why, you know, on the, I debated about using silver charm rings for this exact reason, because you got to hold it for so long for the glue to set up, you know, on the silver. And I suppose on this one, we almost could have made the charm rings with double-sided adhesive on the back, but you do have some charm rings sticking up higher, and I didn't want stray adhesive. You know what I mean? I didn't want stray adhesive behind the charm rings. So. Okay, now I'm going to lift those up and find a spot that I like, and then I'm just going to glue. See, I'm going to glue this behind it, and then I get, you know what I'm going to do? This is what I'm going to do. I'm trying to remember what I did. Okay, I'm going to do 3 sides. I'm going to do 3 sides and get those on. Okay, then I can still mess with the top side where the thing is, right? So I can flip that around. I can lift this up. I can find a location where it's mostly in. So see, a little bit over the top of the edge. That's fine. That's what I did on the original. Okay, so then I'm just going to find a spot and glue those down where they can move. Okay. There, I got there in the end. Got there in the end. Okay, mittens. All right, next one, making angels in the snow. So this one. Okay, again, you know what I think? I think I'm just going to stick with 3 sides thing. If I do the 3 sides on the frame, maybe just a little bit in on the upper, leave myself some slide room as I put these on, and then I can mess around with the angle of the charm in the opening. So like on the making angels, I kind of angled it this way. Okay, I mean, you can do your own thing. Look, don't feel like it has to match mine, but on the making angels in the snow, on the snow angel, I kind of angled it this way. All right, so then once I find a spot that I like, and go behind there. You just need enough glue. It doesn't have to be glued down everywhere. It just has to be enough glue to hold it in position, right? So maybe the wings are, you know, loose. That's fine. Okay, next one. Snowflake. And okay. Again, find a spot that I like. You can slide that charm ring along that edge. Okay, and then just a little glue behind some of the bits of the snowflake. Hold it down. So you see what we're doing. We're just going along and adding our frames to the green squares. Okay. And I'm kind of trying to, with these things, I'm trying to find positions where they stay mostly in the square, because then I don't have to worry about putting it on and creating any catch points with little edges hanging off or anything like that. I mean, the upper ones are fine with the charm rings, but for the most part, I'm kind of, if they fit, I'm trying to keep them in the square, because it'll just be less things for me to, you know, concern myself with as on the assembly. Now you could look at all of our other charm sets. We have a ton of them. And you can just think about this same, you know, just that's what you have to do is you have to copy yourself. You know, you've made this card as a holiday card. And then, boy, it's just going to work right into a cool Valentine's Day card, maybe with the love charms, or a garden, or like a spring card, Mother's Day card with the garden charms. Oh, that little fairy would look so cute. You do Easter. So yeah, anything that you can make like small little elements out of. Okay, this one looks like I didn't glue it down, so I'm going to go ahead and glue that one down. Okay, I think all that I have left now is my sled. Okay, so for the sled, yeah, I think what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do. All right, decide what kind of angle that I want the sled, which, you know what, it's naturally wanting to do this, so I think I'm just going to let it do that. Okay, I'm going to cut it at the bottom edge of the frame. Okay, so you got to make sure that you like your location when you do this. I guess, you know what, you could cut a little bit beyond the frame if you wanted to, because then you have a little bit more to trim off, but that gives you a little wiggle room. Okay, now I have to bend it and get it behind the frame. See? Okay. Then I can glue my frame to my green. Okay, once I've got that, well, I guess it's being trapped. Ooh, here. I guess it's being trapped by the frame in that location, but I probably wouldn't trust just that, so I'm going to go behind there and add just a little smidge of glue somewhere to hold that on. Then I can flip it over and trim the rest of the sled to match the frame. All right, we did it. We did it. Now we just have to build our photo fans, decorate the front of the card, and we're done. Oh, a couple little things here. Let's see. So if you find your reindeer, okay, when we cut the flower centers from the photo fan, you'll see that there's 3 small circles and then one that's a little bit larger. I used the one that was a little bit larger, and I went ahead and let it overlap the frame. I thought that was kind of cute. Okay. Then I used the 3 small ones from that set as ornaments on the Christmas tree. Those are stickers, so wherever you want them to go. 2. Okay, now I'm going to save the rest of the berries that we cut for, or the circles for the front of the card. Okay, these are ready to go. All right, does it have to match mine? It does not have to match mine. I'm going to go ahead and put mine together exactly like this because I want my second original to match the handout. So I am going to follow my original, and I will tell you exactly what I did to do that. Okay, you do not have to follow mine, right? You can mix and match and change the location of your photo fan elements as you see fit. I'm going to go ahead and start in the back here, and I decided to do the skate that is, the toe is pointing to the right. Okay, and I'm going to use this outside spoke, and what's going to happen with this one is it's going to flip over and land on its belly. See that? This one, this one, this one, and this one, they're flipping over, okay? So what that means is you don't want that corner too low, or it'll creak on you, you know? I mean, it'll still close, but it'll creak, okay? So your best bet, where's my skate? Here it is, okay, is as you're gluing that on, keep that corner off the card a little bit so that it can flip over easily. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add a little glue on that spoke. I'm gonna go in with my skate. I'm gonna pinch it against my finger. I'm gonna really quickly give it a look and make sure that it closes. Perfect. Okay. Now I'm going to skip all of these spokes and I'm going to go over and do Rudolph on the right here. And I'm going to do just kind of match the location that I did with the skate on the other outside spoke. So this, keeping the corner off of the card a little bit so that it can easily flip over. Okay. All right. Skipping the center ones, and skipping the next two and going to the center. I'm going to do mittens. Okay, up here, and I'm going to do the snow angel here. So if you think about it, try and have the corner of the mittens be sort of in a visual line of the center spoke coming up, right? How far up? It's kind of up to you. I mean, you want it to have a little bit of support, like, you know. So say I'm gonna put a little bit on the end there. All right. Okay, so that may mean that. Well, I mean, you really can. You can do it right in the center. I was going to say it may mean that it's skewed a little bit to one side or the other, but really, I think I can move that over a little bit. I kind of want these two to be pretty close in the open position. See, these corners are pretty close because it leaves me more room to fit one in here. Okay, so it's not that it wouldn't work if you did it differently, but you know, if you kind of try and keep them where they come together pretty closely, then you've got more room for the one that's going to be in the middle. Okay, so in the middle we've got snowman over here and tree over here. So, oh, sorry, the white snowman. Well, they're both white. I don't know what. This one's got blue in the background. That's what I'm saying. Okay, the white background snowman is going to go here. So some adhesive on the spoke there. And now I'm just doing it to my visual eye. You know, I'm kind of splitting the space and then just checking, make sure I didn't create any catch points. All right, and then one over here. It's going to be the tree. And just check it. Okay, now let's say something did catch or whatever. You've got a little chance to pull it off of there and just change the angle a little bit or go down or up a little bit. Or let's say it was sticking out of the card. I don't think that's possible with this size card. Well, I mean, don't take it as a personal challenge, but you know, you should be okay. You got a little bit of room on this. Okay, so there's the back fan. All right, so now we're going to go to the front fan. And once again, I'm going to start with these two outside ones. This one, I'm going to put the little reindeer and do the same thing I did with the skate. I'm going to put the adhesive here. I want to keep the corner off the ground a little bit so it'll easily flip over. Okay, so keeping the corner off the ground. Check it, make sure it stays in. So see, I'm getting pretty close to the edge of the card there on that one. So which side is that? That's that side. I mean, I stayed in, but if I didn't, you might have to adjust the angle a little bit, you know, to keep it in. Once you've got one on this side, just try to match the same angle on the other side because then, you know, you already know that it fits in the card that way. So we're going to do Mousy over here. Now, I can tell you that I did not pay enough attention to my corner on my original Mousy, and he is resting on the card. See that corner? And he still flips over, but he makes a little, well, she's not making too much noise right now, but, you know, he can, see, scrape on the side. Whereas if I'd hit that corner off the card, then I wouldn't have to worry about any scraping. Ooh, I got really close right here. So let's see, it needs to go down this way a little bit. If I go down a little bit, yeah, now it's in, okay? So just pay attention to, you know, like see, it flipped over and it stuck out the card, which means I have to lower it a little bit to keep it in, okay? All right, then I'm going to skip these center two and I'm going to go to my middle two here and I'm going to do a sled up on this one. Okay, and then I'm going to do Santa over here. Better check that one. Yep, he's good. Santa's going to go here. Okay. Oops, something's catching. Okay, right. Okay, this one's not liking this one. What's happened on this one? Let me see. It's just enough away that it's not hitting it on that one. Okay, so what do I need to do? Where do I put it? How about now? Are you happy now? No, you're still not happy. All right, you know what? Forget skate. I'm going to put skate on in a second. I'm going to keep going here with my other ones. You know what I could do too is I could move the sled. Maybe I should just move the sled over. Why didn't I think of that from the start, y'all? What if I just move the old sled over a bit? Then will you be happy, little skate? Yeah. Yeah, that was the solution the whole time. I just needed to move the sled over. Okay, well, that makes me feel silly. That makes me feel silly. Okay, well, good. All right, so I knew that these were going to be problems out on the ends because of everything coming down, you know, these two. So with these ones, I wanted to come way in on them. So I'm essentially, I'm not even using the whole spoke. I'm bringing it all the way down to where I could probably just chop a little bit of the spoke off. You know, that's how far down I'm coming. So I could take a little bit off of these two. Okay, because I really don't want to create another catch point. So I'm going to let it come down and kind of sit in that location like that. Perfect. Okay. So make sure it's not, you know, you don't want it to get trapped up in a fold, so it has to be higher than that, but then it can just slide in like that. Okay. And then let's see, then we're going to do snowman. We're going to do the same thing over here. Snowman. Let's just weave him in. Okay, cute. Very cute. Okay, and then the last one for the inside is going to be I did the white snowflake. And again, you can only attach it to one side of the fold or the other. It doesn't really matter. For whatever reason, I guess I think of, with a right-handed card, that having it open this way, like kind of this viewing, is, for whatever reason, pleases me more. So I just chose to attach it to this side. So for that, you would put your adhesive up this spoke a little bit and a little bit into that arrow, okay? And then this one would go on in the center. It's got to stay out of the fold. So down here in the corner, sorry, I'm getting my finger out. Down here in the corner, it's got to stay out of the fold, but something like that. There you go. Okay. Well, other than my sled and skate fighting each other, it did okay. It did okay. All right, let's finish this card up. You all got things to do, I know it. All right, so the preprint of the Merry Christmas, had you cut that out with the Lorna label, and then I just had you use a black pen on the inside of the die, if you like that look, to give it a little black edging. And then I'm going to hit this with, well, you know what? I tell you what, that looks like red ink to me, not brown. So let me just get some red ink out here. I'll just go back to that same, whatever I was using last time, barn door. Fire brick? What did I say I was using? I think I was using fire. Oh, let's use fire brick. Okay, hit that with a little red ink. You could use your brown, though, if you don't want to get your red out. It looks nice with brown too. For a little vintage kind of look. Okay, and then on that is going to be one of our red mirror hearts. Okay, now that can go where you want it. I ended up choosing this spot over here. You might want to check that you don't create any kind of weird catch point. I don't think you can create a catch point in that location, so I think that's a really good location. Yeah, these pop-up cards that have movement, you just have to be a little bit flexible. I think that's the word I would use in your locations of things. you know, but this is a lot, these are a lot easier to place without catch points than, well, not a lot easier, but you know what I mean. I mean, it's a little bit easier than with the photo collage. Okay, so then I had you cut a white dotted oval out of the Lorna label. That is for a place to sign the card. I managed to perfectly die cut the sticker. Huh. It's like it's perfect on there. Okay, take that sticker off. Interfere with my glue. Okay, that can go wherever you want to sign the card. Okay, so over here somewhere. Okay, and then all we have left is the front of the card. Now, I did, yeah, no, I didn't. That's right, because we used the heavyweight cardstock. So sometimes with cards, I'll put a piece on the back just for balance of the weight, but I didn't really feel like this one felt unbalanced because of the heavyweight cardstock. So we didn't put anything on the back of this one. Let's talk about this front here. Okay, I think we can build this front of the card. We can on this piece of cardstock. So you're going to get this piece of cardstock out, and we're going to layer our All Is Bright onto our red cardstock. And then for this stripe, we're going to have to do the same trick that we did on the last card where we cut it and slide a portion of it out. Okay, because that was from a journaling card that was only 4 inches tall. So if you just take a chunk off the where you know it's going to get covered, okay, then you can glue 1/2. Let's see, how far up? I'm going to say, I don't know, 1/2 inch or so to your liking. You know, a little bit up from the bottom. Okay. Oh, I flipped it around. I didn't mean to, but apparently I did. I was like, why doesn't this match that one? So it's up to you as to whether, because when I cut it from here, I should have slid it out straight like that, but apparently I flipped it upside down, so I don't think it really matters. Okay, that one's going to go here. Okay, and then the gap will get covered by this. All right, then All Is Bright. Well, we used, I mean, all of that journaling cards paper. Made much good use of it. Okay, and then when you put this on, what I would suggest is that you do an equal border on these 3 sides when you're choosing your location. Okay, we're almost done with this card. And then I am going to end the video and let you all get on with your life and day versus like holding you here and showing you a bunch of cards or something like that, because it's been a long, for those of you who took both classes, it's been a really long day. But if you watch those assembly videos for the Merry Christmas, well, actually I don't have one for the Merry Christmas Lorna add-ons because that's just an add-on set, but for the photo fan, you'll see a lot of ideas there for the thing. Did I use I guess I didn't use the other heart, but I did use all of these berries. So you've got these berries. Well, I say berries, I mean, they're the little circles out of the photo fan. So what I did is I just went around and picked, you know, you don't have enough to cover all of them, but you can, you know, you've got 2 sizes here. So you kind of pick where you want the big ones to go. So I guess I put a big one on this one. And let's wait, my other big one. And my other big one went up here on this big one. Okay, and then I just sprinkled in some of the small ones just around the scene. Okay. Doesn't have to match mine. So wherever you think it looks nice. Just covering up some of the berries in the journaling card with some foil ones. Here and here. Okay. And you do have that little heart, so I mean, maybe there's a spot that you think the heart would look cute. Would it look cute in the middle of the snowflake? That would look really cute. Or maybe it would look cute kind of like below the greeting. I don't know. I might find a place for that. I think I might just put mine on my snowflake. I kind of like that look. Okay, and then once you have that card front ready, then just make sure that you're on the front of the card, that you don't have the thing flipped over. So, and then that's going to go on here. So your card, this one is going to use a 5x7 envelope, so it's going to take that A7 envelope, but it will require extra postage because of how rigid and thick it is. So in the States, you can only use a single stamp if it's under an ounce, and if it's less than 1/4 of an inch thick, which this might make it once it's in the envelope, but what's going to get you is the rigidity. Okay, it's just really rigid, so it can't go through those machines. So your best bet is to use the non-machinable stamp, the butterfly stamp if you're in the States. You can probably mail it for one of those. Or you can try a single stamp and then add the little extra ounce stamp. But that doesn't really fix the rigidity problem, so I'd probably stick with the non-machinable stamp on that. So there it is. We did it. Card number 2. All right, well, let's see. I don't know what I'm looking like these days. Woo! Been a few hours, y'all. This was fun. I love these cards. So I hope you enjoyed it. This is our virtual class for November. So if you are just watching this and you're like, oh, this looked like fun, I'm going to do this next time, you can go on our events page. So you go to KarenBurniston.com, you click on the little tab that says events, or if you're on your phone, go to the little whatever hamburger menu and go down to events. And then we always post the upcoming classes there. So if there's Zoom classes, then you go through one of the participating stores to get a kit. If it's a virtual class, you can get it from our website while supplies last, because we do always sell out. But our next series of classes, so we do have a Zoom class in December. And that one, do I have the cards really handy to show you? The cards. Okay, so for December, it's a Zoom class. You'll have to go through one of the participating stores to get kits. You should still be able to get a kit for December. We are going to be featuring our fireworks, our new fireworks die set. So there'll be a New Year's card, will be one of the cards. And then we're also going to be featuring our new penguin and snowman, or penguin and reindeer add-ons that fit our snowman die set. So these are the 2 cards. So for the New Year's card, we're going to make a floating fireworks card. The base of this one is actually going to be our palm tree pop-up, but that is not one of the required dies. So that means it will be pre-cut for you. The little clear palm tree pieces will be pre-cut for you in the kits. And then you'll do all the cutting of the fireworks and the Happy New Year, which are required dies. And then for the second one, we're going to combine the snowman pop-up, which is the foundation die for this one. Where's that snowman? Okay, so the snowman pop-up makes a really cute little pop-up snowman. And then we have a new add-on set that will turn that into a reindeer or a penguin. And since I wanted to do a winter card, for reindeer and penguin, no, worry about it. Since I want to do a winter card, we're not going to do a reindeer. We're just going to do a penguin and a snowman. But so this one's going to have a little string closure on it. It's got a cute little snowman in the front. The first pop-up is going to be the penguin. And then we're going to do a second fold in the card so that we can also build a snowman in it. Okay, some pretty cool techniques in this one. Both the making of the card with the double fold and the string closure, but mainly is we're going to change the base of the snowman so that instead of it collapsing directly down to the side like it normally would, it's going to collapse on the diagonal. Okay, and that's going to keep it from crashing into the penguin. So that's going to be a kind of fun technique that we're going to learn in that December Zoom class. So KarenBurniston.com, click on the events tab. That will tell you which stores are making kits. And hope I will see some. And that's a live Zoom. So on the Zoom classes, you actually get to tune in and have me in the room and, helping you and all that kind of stuff. So, all right. I hope you had a good time in our November virtual class. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next time. Bye.